Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Saturday night sci-fi shadow chat. Let me bring in my buddy here in just a minute. Justin is waiting in the wings. From Mobile Suit Gundam to Robotech to Battletech, Games Workshop's Titans, and a slew of other giant robots. We're not done talking about this topic, and so for a multitude of reasons, Justin and I, and anybody who wants to hit the old link button in my Discord under the live stream links tab at the very top of the channel. You'll find the link. So, folks, you want to come on in. Speaking of, let's get Justin in here. What's happening, bro? Long time no see, man. Friday, by the
Uh,
show.
all the way until yesterday at noon, my time.
Yeah.
Uh,
What's up, Raven?
nothing much. Oh, hey, Raven.
Did you find your stray cat? Oh, wait a minute. You've got 20. I mean, the one that's missing.
Yeah.
My guess is not yet, but who knows? They always turn up. That's what I told her earlier. Don't fret. You'll find it, and if not, that means it found another home. So, one down,
Hopefully
18
in
to go.
something's belly.
Hopefully, in something's belly. Justin woke up and chose violence.
No, this is me being calm and polite.
So,
You don't want me choosing violence.
fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. I did a little research because I was remembering back in the day, way before you were born, probably before most of our viewers were born. But there was a show called Johnny Sacco and His Flying Robot, and then there was, of course, I don't know if that was before. There was also Gigantor. As soon as I say the name Gigantor, the song just pops into your head, right, George? Uh,
George.
I
Now, when you were a wee lad, they hadn't invented the sun yet, so
No, we had the sun. We just didn't have the moon.
hmm,
That was
that's
a
what it
millennia or
was.
two later.
Sure.
That's
Is
my
that where
sticking with it.
is that where you store your giant robots? The moon.
On the moon when I'm not making Gigantor, right, DM Beelzebub.
Deal.
Oh, you want to hang out? You know where the link is. It's in my Discord. George, same
Yeah.
thing. We got room for four more. I was going to say, yes, I have some room. Unfortunately, nerds, ever expanding database is requiring more and more real estate on my moon. So, was it Hanna Barbera that did Gigantor, or I don't think they did Johnny Sacco, but uh, I was watching the intros and stuff for that right before the show because when Jackie was a wee lad, we used to watch Ultraman, and to this
Ooh.
day, man, that show was just those all those shows were so goofy, but they really tried their best to take it seriously. I would love to see outtake reels from that, but I think that was before the time of outtake reels,
Mm-hmm.
which is a shame because I was watching outtake reels from Firefly yesterday, and oh my god, just I just got the DVD of Serenity a while ago, and I haven't popped it in yet, but I decided to just go online and see what I
Have
could.
you watched? Have you seen Serenity?
Oh yeah, many
Okay,
times.
I saw it in the show. Yeah.
In the theater,
Mhm.
that would have been awesome, but it would have been so devastating at the same time. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Uh,
I don't know. I think uh, it could have been better. It didn't have the same vibe as the.
you're absolutely right. It did not have the same vibe. It was a lot more serious, a lot less humor, and
A lot,
it was
a
good.
lot colder.
Yeah, it was a lot colder, a lot sterile, a lot more sterile, and just missing that original magic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, George, Hanna Barbera, Beelzebub. You got time to type. You got time to click the link and get your ass in here. I don't think you've ever
Yeah.
actually been on my show, dude. And
No, I don't think yes.
that's a crime against humanity. Speaking of crimes against humanity, I was looking at the crimes against humanity card set, and it was a little spendy. What's up,
Yeah,
TCGs?
don't buy that shit, man.
Yeah,
There are free versions of it online. I'm just not one to set it up for you.
yeah.
Uh,
We'll get there one of these days. TCG, you know where the link is. You want to come in and talk about giant stompy robots. Uh,
Giant
I,
stoppy robots.
I'm guessing your favorite giant stompy robots are BattleTech giant stompy robots.
I like the BattleTechs. I also like the Gundam Wing. I watched all of it a few years
Gundam Wing was
ago.
awesome, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
all of the main timeline. I
Yeah.
should watch. Was it Iron Blooded Orphans or whatever it's called? That one looks good, but it's not part of the primary timeline.
Because I watched all the originals.
Mhm.
Uh, the old schlocky.
They're still making that. That's the primary timeline. They're still making that series, but periodically they'll go and just make like all the same robots but a different world.
Yeah, I'm not a
Like
big fan of that idea.
Endless Waltz was that way.
Was it? I thought that was part of.
No, that was
Really?
its own.
No
That
wonder
was
it
its
didn't
own
make any
timeline.
sense. Because
Yeah.
Gundam Wing, I think, at least for me, was the most serious, despite a few things.
The Iron
Politically,
Blooded Orphans or whatever that one's called is actually the most serious one, from what I
was that
understand.
prior to Wing or after?
After uh, Wing and Endless Waltz, which is
Was there a
uh,
Gundam role playing game? I am not
there
aware of one.
probably is.
Yeah, but like more mainstream. Uh,
Yes.
if it was
Please
a
do play
Japanese
Battletech.
thing, makes sense why I've never heard of it. But yeah, Wing Gundam Wing was really uh, a departure from the old style, and especially with the more complex story.
Gundam
What's
Wing,
up? What's up,
Endless
Dungeon Brush? Yes,
Waltz.
we are talking giant stompy robots. We've actually talked about this as a topic before. It's been a year, so I figure uh, why not do it
Yeah.
again? Plus, ulterior motives. Justin and I are each going to be writing a giant stompy robot short story over the course of the next 6 weeks, and I figured this would be a good
Uh-huh.
opportunity to discuss it with everybody out there. Uh,
And
Five
I'm
edition.
writing mine outside of the shared universe. That way, I'm not bound by the rules that we've loosely set up for that so far. If you want to do the same or don't, that's up to
No,
you.
I'm gonna stick uh, with it's going to be in the same system but a different planet and a different characters and a different uh, thing.
Yeah.
I, I'm torn between um, someone having to turn an agromech into a defense machine for a reason against banditos or something like that, or um, who do we got here? Someone just popped in. Bubba, what's happening, man? Oh, we don't get to see his smiling face. Okay, I see how you
Yeah.
are.
Remember, it's not my show, so you can leave your doors open.
I got my door open, but
I'm
it's
in my
just a
jammies.
dog. If I don't, uh, he will just come, and just whine by the door until I let him in. Then I'll let him
Yeah.
in, and he'll walk around, look around, see that I'm just talking to nobody because he doesn't smell anybody, and then he'll walk out. And if I close the door, he'll come right back, wanting to come back in. What's up,
Yeah.
Derek? How you doing? So, Bubba, got a favorite giant stompy robot
I
franchise or
think he went to go do something. That's why he shut his camera off.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just have to
Um.
ask him that question later
Yeah. Um.
because I
Yeah.
literally don't have a favorite story. But what do you think? Uh, you know,
You
Agromech
ever
turns defense bot,
Yeah,
or
whatever you want to do, man. Look, I'm not holding your hand behind your back.
no, no. I mean,
I
what
picked the
sounds more
prompt this
interesting?
week. You pick it next time. Uh, right? It's like I just threw a subject out there, man.
How about you,
Whatever you
Bubba?
want to do.
You got a favorite giant Stompy robot IP? Favorite
It's
IP
always
or
Battletech.
franchise? What?
Battletech.
BattleTech?
Battletech.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like one called Full Metal Panic.
Okay, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I am familiar with it.
Yeah.
Um,
It's an anime.
right. It's
I was
funny
never
because
an anime.
for the most part, most of them are.
There are a few that are okay, Bubba.
Yeah, there's a handful. Helsing. I like Helsing.
Yeah.
Um, Tokyo Tank Police, was that one of them?
Oh yeah, yeah. Tank Police.
Yeah, Tokyo Tank
That,
Police.
that that's actually the origin of the cat girl joke.
Mhm,
Yeah,
I know. I
I'm
know.
probably showing my age.
I think I actually have the Tank Police either RPG or supplement for an RPG somewhere.
Macross. I used to try to watch Macross. I just never really got into it. I never got into the Gundam stuff. Everybody was like crazy about Gundam, which is weird because I love BattleTech.
Well, for me, I had heard about Gundam, but I could never find it as a young kid. But Robotech came out, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. I mean, I hated Min May. I think we were supposed to, and she got what she deserved in one of the later books. So there's that. Um,
I never got into it.
The
it was
original.
hard. It was hard. The best character got killed in halfway through the first season. Roy Fokker just died like a dumbass, and after that, it was hard to come back. And Rick was just awful. And
I think that stuff like that happening to protagonists and stuff in a game that in a story there's warfare makes sense.
Yeah.
right,
So,
but
so like this
he
dude is the dude 2 days getting ready to leave combat zone and gets clipped.
no. Did you watch Robotech?
I watched a few of it.
Okay, well, Roy was like Rick's adopted big brother, his idol, his older
Yeah,
friend.
that's why he was killed off. Also, they probably ran out of footage. They probably ran out of footage of the character.
No, what happened was he kept getting in a fight with his girlfriend because he'd have to go and fight. They're on the same battleship, but he had to go fight, so she's getting upset. Blah blah blah. So he promised her he'd come right back after the battle because she was making pineapple upside down cake, and he promised no matter what he'd be there. And he got wounded somehow through his plane, and he's bleeding, and nobody noticed, and he limps off to go have pineapple upside down cake and pretty much just dies as he walks through the door instead of
Yeah,
going to the hospital. It's just like stupid.
Well,
Get it? A promise is a promise, but hey,
it's
you want me
called
to keep
drama,
making?
bro.
some wounds are fatal, right? And when you get hit with them, you know it's done. It's like all the westerns when someone's shot in the gut, and they're all like, "Yeah, you done."
Yeah, that's why there was that line in my last story about a gunshot wound because I'm very familiar with that. Back in the day, it was
Oh, it's still like that in certain
well,
things.
yeah, right.
I worry more about legs and the ephemeral artery than anything else anymore because people don't think about it, and it's so easy to clip it, cut it. So,
And gush blood. Um, yep, yep.
fuck you got 14 seconds.
8 pints are out of you before you can stand
Yeah.
up.
This is a cheery subject, isn't it, folks?
I bring the cheer. Yeah,
We are writing war stories
what was the
now,
one?
so
Thunderhawks?
Sounds familiar.
yeah.
Or Silverhawk.
No,
I know that was one as well.
there was a whole team.
No,
and they
you're
had
thinking Thunderbird. Thunderbirds. What's up, Mobius?
Thunderbirds. That was it.
And Doc, you want to grab the link?
I like
It's up
Thunderbirds.
in my Discord channel in the special tab for the links at the top. That's what a lot of people miss. I think, and a lot of stories miss that it usually is war. It's not like Ultraman and Johnny Sacco, the giant flying robot, which it was. I mean, sometimes it was kind of war with aliens, but it was less structured, less. You were like in those stories they were the special, sort of branch of the science division. It wasn't full rank and file, just you know mass waves of giant stompy robots or infantry or tanks or that sort of thing.
Well,
once
at
you
one
go into
point,
that full military regimen, you kind of need to know a thing or two about having served before you start, telling those stories. Because too many times I've noticed them doing things that were just ridiculous in the way
Well, you're the expert, Bubba.
you
Out of
know.
us,
I was just a grunt.
Right, but you at least understood the chain of command,
Right.
and
Because you
and
can
you
always
know
tell when
orders
you're
is
watching a
orders.
cartoon or an anime and they're doing military stuff and they have no idea what military stuff is.
Right,
It's
right.
like listening to liberals talk about guns. It's like, really? Seriously?
Mhm.
well, not all liberals are ignorant about guns. There's the John Brown
Right.
Guns
There's the
Club
guys in
after
New
all.
Hampshire and
Welcome
Oregon.
to the show,
Yeah.
Doc Flamingo. I think I'm going to do that from now instead of What's Up, Doc. Even though What's Up, Doc is so much more fun for me, especially after
As long as you don't
working
throw
on my
something.
Killer Rabbit character.
Rabbit. Yeah, I've been
We
playing
we
that
doing that? We're gonna do
game
that
on
men
Steam.
campaign. That men game.
Man, are you guys running it? I don't want to run it.
Oh, if
Uh,
somebody runs that, I would love to jump in.
you're so low, Doc, man. You're like at the end of a tunnel.
Yeah,
That's me.
Where's the microphone?
Let me see
that's
if I
okay.
can
You don't mind.
see.
Oh, my
Yeah,
volume is
my
way
camera
down.
is
Okay.
awful.
Yeah, I think at one time we thought the natural evolution of armored combat and warfare would go to something like a big giant robot with a commanding view of the battlefield. But
Mhm.
over time, you just want to get closer and closer to the ground. You want that low profile.
Well,
Yeah, I know.
are any of you guys familiar with the Bolo series?
Bolo.
I'm
Oh,
familiar with it, but I've never read it.
I'll pull it up so I can see what you're
okay.
talking
Instead of going to giant stompy robots, what they decided was to make cyber-brained, massive city block-sized tanks.
Oh, ogre. Yeah,
The,
basically ogre.
the,
Yeah,
Ogre.
the
but
inspiration for Ogre, yes, absolutely,
Bolo is a novel series.
yes.
Okay.
Um, I know that they wrote a few of them not too long ago.
Yeah, the original
Uh,
author passed away and passed on the torch to
yeah,
other
David
folks.
David Weber.
See, yeah,
I've read other
Weber's
stuff.
and they do Starfire, which I like
Yeah,
Starfire.
I think I also
Starfire was
have
good.
a heavy gear book or two there on. Uh, I liked it. I liked the idea of something like Bolos versus mechs. Because
Yeah,
that way, the giant mech, it's going to be at a slight disadvantage if it wants to go melee, but the Bolo's got just launching shit and then ram it and just unload on it. Either way, you're looking at ridiculous amounts of money that would have to be pumped in to
Yeah,
develop and field even one of either.
well, when you're an interplanetary empire,
yeah. You're mining whole asteroid belts and just when you can
yeah.
strip mine planets.
Yep. Well, yeah. So
Well,
there's
the
that.
It's
inherent
like
problem with
like what Elon was talking about towing a couple of these satellites, these near Earth satellite asteroids. They're just completely composed of nickel. Like
Mhm.
it's like nothing but nickel, and it's huge. And they're about dragging it closer to Earth and then mining it, which would destroy all value of nickel on the planet.
Yeah, but you'd probably not use most of it locally. You'd probably use it
Space.
as infrastructure material in space.
Right.
well, there will
You'd
be
have hulls
Not
made out
a
of
there yet.
fair
nickel.
number of heavier
Well,
metals in
one at
there
a time.
too.
What was that, Doc?
There will be a fair amount of heavier metals in there too. If you get a good rocky asteroid, you could potentially get just like 5 or 6 miles across. You could potentially get more gold out of that, for example, than has ever been mined on Earth, and it's all right there in one location. That's the big economic problem with that. As soon as people start
Yeah,
asteroid mining, the amount of materials available is just going to explode insanely.
astronomical.
Yeah.
Then you'll see how good your gold reserves are for your economy insurance.
Yeah, well, who knows much we actually even have, or how much of that has disappeared. A couple of years ago, I think 10 years ago, Germany decided to repatriate a bunch of its gold from the United States. And what they got returned, they decided to drill it, just to be sure, and it was plated tungsten. And then it disappeared from the news very quickly after that. They
I'll bet.
came to some kind of arrangement. But yeah, they tried to screw them out of their money.
That's pretty messed up. I don't know how you come back from that on the world stage.
America.
Well, none of your money's backed by gold at the moment. Now they go to a gold standard. That means
we got taken off in
fiat.
'72 for the petrodollar instead, and that's about to fall.
Petrodollar's dead.
So Saudi Arabia doesn't want to renew that.
Actually, that thing is bullshit. It was totally made up.
What's that?
That whole deal with Saudi Arabia not wanting to renew that deal never existed in the first place.
Well, they're not trading exclusively in U.S. dollars, which is the petrodollar, and they're attacking everyone's sovereign currencies, which is the death of the petrodollar. And now today or yesterday, the Russians and the Iranians are now using their currency instead of using dollars in their trade with each other.
The Russians have been.
Why they were using our dollars versus their own currencies beforehand.
That's one of the main reasons they went after Gaddafi, was that he was like, well, I'm just going to start taking euros and gold for oil.
Yeah.
I mean, they could go on and on how much they want about how it was a humanitarian effort, which is the most ridiculous thing in the world, because the country was destroyed by that.
Right.
But
that's Hillary Clinton saying something about it. There's no humanitarian issues with it. It's pure.
Well, she's not human.
Wow.
She's
an obedient golem.
Yeah, how would she even, know what, other than maybe what they taste like?
That, or maybe she thought he knew something about whitewater. Who knows?
Oh, they've already killed everybody about whitewater. All the physical evidence was in Oklahoma City.
That you know of.
And the Waco stuff, with all the physical evidence for Waco, that was in the same building. It went boom. Yeah. The Clintons don't have giant Stompy robots.
Good transition.
Good transition. Get back on topic.
Whoa.
I'm sorry to hear about your impending suicide.
Yeah.
This show is less on topic than my show, bro.
Maybe I guess we beat giant Stompy robots to death.
The inherent problem with mechs is that in reality they make no sense whatsoever. It's just
right.
They're intimidation.
That they're being very versatile with hands and stuff. They would be very, very versatile for traversing geographical areas very quickly.
For construction,
over like your Bolo versus a mech, the mech's going to win because it has
in movement.
Yeah, because once you kill a track vehicle, everybody in that tank wants to get out because they know they're going to die.
That's why they one of the reasons why they put cybernetic brains in them. No pilots, no crew whatsoever, and they were so big. I shit you not that they would just crush through any sort of terrain other than actual mountains.
Right.
They were submersible.
But also being something that big means you can't be missed.
Right.
Yeah.
Miss something that big.
You gotta nuke the fucking thing, though.
Yeah, nuke it.
Yeah, but it's in both cases they're intimidation and domination weapons, not actual like strategic ones.
Right. Well, these were actually, they would have like one or two on a planet because they had weaponry that could leave orbit. So it was just like a mobile command thing. It was like, okay, this planet, you get a Bolo, maybe two.
It's basically a fortress that can move on.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like the Leviathans and things like that, or even some of the other super heavy tanks in 40K, which were always my favorite. The Titans were awesome, but there was just something about the Leviathan and the Imperial Capital vehicles, just these stupidly large treaded things that just, plus they were made of, they were metal miniatures, whereas the Titans were.
It makes for a great war game. It makes for fun miniatures. Man.
Oh, it was epic. not Epic 40K. Epic Space Marines First and Second Edition was and will always be
Well,
number one war
you
game.
also you also got to think of it in the sense of like an imperial power wanting to show off, or a corporate entity wanting to like flex its muscle with doing something stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
people will make impractical weapons. We've seen that throughout history.
Yeah.
The Germans were notorious.
Well, I mean, if
The
you look back at
Japanese with the
Mouse. Yeah. I love the mouse, but it was terrible.
if you look back at the
Well,
original tanks, they were they had no idea. They were just you know throwing shit at the wall to see what would stick. So especially some of
Matilda.
those Italian tanks back in the day, they were just
I
goofy
have a
looking.
Matilda in the
They're making
closet
Panthers
somewhere.
again. They got a new Panther, and it's pretty impressive. I'll be honest. The Germans are making new Panthers.
Thunder.
Hey, Hungar, you want to talk about some giant stompy robots? The link is in the link section of my Discord. Jackie says
Anon.
hi.
Although I have to say, as someone who has changed the tracks out on a 2-ton vehicle, I could not imagine the freaking nightmare of having to repair something.
That's why they do
millions of
multi-tracks.
tons.
Multi-tracks, you can throw half of them before it really super affects you, I guess. I guess that was the reasoning for the mouse, for the Germans and stuff, because I think it had multiple tank tracks on each side, if I remember correctly.
Nerds, no.
When you're talking about something like a mech or a, God forbid, a bolo, I think the repair systems on that would be automated.
Yeah.
You would tow that thing into some sort of cradle, and it would be repaired by robots.
Yeah, or
Well,
nano.
maybe next time, Anon.
Yeah.
You're always welcome, buddy.
Yeah.
But with the Battletech, they had muscular
Absolutely, George, they do.
that made them more like humans, the giant big robots. It was a cool game, but the weapons never made any sense because
Well,
the
what
missiles
game?
had horrible range. Like they were ridiculously short range.
Oh, in Battletech, yeah, the range, you would never
It
even
didn't make any sense.
ranges you would actually fight at, you would never actually see each other.
Right.
Yeah, you have better range with a 223 than and it wasn't just BattleTech. It was the same in 40K, Space
Yeah.
Marines, most games, and I suppose you can go if you're retarded. You can say, well, the effective range is this. That's a whole bunch more horse shit as well. They've got
Well,
these things called scopes and targeting systems.
I sort of understand BattleTech, where like everyone is firing with the targeting system of Mark One eyeball.
Yeah.
You know,
But
you don't have targeting systems.
I mean, the weapons we have now have like 20 times the range.
the tow missile has
Yes.
a better range than the long range missile.
The toe, yeah. It's got a wire attached to it.
Those are 30-meter hexes. 30-meter hexes, right? So
Yeah.
the longest range for a long-range missile was 21 hexes. So that's 630 meters.
I mean, a lot of that is just a game.
So a little over 3 football
Yeah.
fields. After that, you can just neater.
We
And-
did play with using the regular movement, but tripling the range of all the weapons on an open floor one time, and that was a way more interesting game. Way more.
Yes.
And you rarely ever got short
What's up,
range.
RPG
It was
Dad?
usually settled about 4 feet away from each other.
If I was creating my own mech game and I was using like a similar hex mechanic, energy weapons would just be straight line off the board, whatever way you fire. The only way you're not hitting something in front of you is if there's an obstacle in the way, obviously. Missiles would also be the same way. Maybe not the short range ones, the
Medium.
no, the short range ones.
SRM.
Short-
Yeah.
Fucking wasn't
They went
the acronym. I said the whole thing out,
on their
but couldn't
description.
fucking figure out the acronym.
Yeah, they're long range. They got medium range missiles now where they got dead fire, so they got -1 to hit. They
Yeah.
got suck. But they make them in 40 packs, which I do like.
Well, I assume the short range would be like grenade launchers, like
Yeah,
like
yeah,
just a
yeah.
fucking mech mounted grenade launcher.
You know what? Anon has a really good point here. because I've been thinking about this a lot lately with drones because I've had experience with them all the way back to I'm going to say the mid to late '80s, and I seriously think that at least one or more nations is going to go the route of drones. Kind of like the orc style of just superior numbers. Well, if your superior numbers are expendable, flying explosives.
Well,
If you're doing that, they're
a
forcing.
lot of the Ukrainian-Russian conflict is being fought that way.
Yeah.
Also, the Russians have a really nice drone tank that they're working on. So it's about the size of a
So the
golf
first
cart.
ogre.
Yeah, it's about the size of a golf cart, and it's like a fully
There was
Oh, really?
armored track vehicle, and it has
Well, when you
an
eliminate
automated.
the interior cavities for living
Yeah,
crew, you can
yeah,
start to
Well,
really
the
pack a
T90s
punch.
have that. The turret is automated, right? So the
yeah,
survivability of the crew is like 90%. So the safest tank in the world is the Russian mainline battle tank now.
yeah. And they're fully automating that. They're getting rid of the crew altogether in some of their. I've
In
seen the
another
prototypes. They
generation or
showed
two,
off
everything's going
prototypes,
to be drones.
but yeah.
It's just going to be more cost effective to do it. You don't
Yeah,
have to,
it's
plus you
a
don't have to
huge force
retrain people
multiplier.
because they keep getting set on fire.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Yeah, you're just gonna have like a wave of drone tanks and then infantry coming in behind them to secure the territory.
Hmm.
That's what always boots in the ground have to come in. Now the Chinese have light carriers with it's 100% drones, 1,200 drones on a light carrier, just waves up.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, even if they were nothing more than a flying hand grenade, in the thousands, that would be
Lots of them are.
right.
Dude, the Lancet is a flying grenade, a flying shell, right? It's $15,000 and it wipes out all the main battle tanks of the NATO. They're
We
hugely effective.
we were working on a van that would deploy 30 drones for blanket cover surveillance of an area. 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think that project ever got off the ground though.
or it did well enough that they buried it.
Oh no, not the government where I work.
Oh,
Uh,
Let me find my Intel Slava. I think I got some drone footage from earlier today.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, we talked a little bit about the destructive capabilities. One of the things I've always had a problem with was, and we touched on this a moment ago, was repairing a mech or a giant stompy robot. Unless your plan, your design of a giant stompy robot is entirely modular, I think you're going to be looking at a way different reality to repair such a thing,
Battletech
especially
did address that.
Huh?
Battletech did address that. You had your gantries and stuff like that. And the clan invasion, they were in fact modular. They popped out whole sections and pop them right back in. That's what made the clan so much more effective. Their
Right,
downtime for repair was quick.
right, because you just have replacement sections ready to go.
Mhm.
Now, you could probably do something like that without being so modular, as long as you have lots of parts. But, where do you store those parts? And you've got to have the personnel. If you
Scrap
design it to
yards.
where it's most of the work's already done, you just got to, like changing a tire, you change a leg or an arm or a torso.
This is why I firmly support in BattleTech the Frankenmechs, especially as you're moving into a campaign, because as your mech gets fucked up, what are you repairing it with?
Right,
Whatever
that's
you can
covered
find.
though. There's rules for that, and there's
Yeah.
different level of tech roles to repair, and it's longer. So the more you change the chassis and stuff, the longer it's going to take to do it. Just like turning an old hot rod and putting power steering and AC in it, you got to go in and rework stuff.
Right.
there's a
The
very
base
cool
series,
game
it's
called Droids.
minor like Tech 1, swapping weapon systems out. That's
What was that, Doc?
There's this very cool old game called Droids. It was like the size of one of the old Traveler booklet books, and
I
basically the whole
remember.
premise of it was you're everybody's dead, and there's just these like war robots out there, and the
Hmm.
whole thing was you just went around killing other robots and taking stuff off them
Scrap. Yeah.
and building yourself up. And there was like might have legs, you might have tracks, you might have a balloon above you, and you just went around collecting parts and rebuilding yourself and reconfiguring
There's
yourself.
there's like several Japanese animes that have sort of that sort of concept. Wally, where it's nothing but the droids and the androids and the robots left, and they're trying. What was that really good one? Oh God! Well, where the world was nothing but robots left, and maybe a couple of like one or two humans left, and they were trying to. Oh man, it was really really depressing, but it was really really good. Uh, oh
You'll
God.
have to look it up later and tell us.
I know, and the only way I can shorten that is thankfully by going back to the old archives of Adult Swim, because it was one of those things. I know it wasn't Big O, which was also a good one, but that whole amnesia thing just what was wasted on that story.
Or what amnesia thing on Big O?
In that story, there was something that happened that caused everybody to lose their memories of who and what they were. For the most part, they still were able to function just like normal. They just had no idea who they were. And when the height of the show would be the main character getting into his giant stompy robot to fight other giant stompy robots. It was like it would have been better as two separate shows or programs. One dealing with the amnesia and one dealing with the giant stompy robots, but they tried to squeeze it in, and it just didn't make any sense. I could pilot this giant stompy robot, but I can't remember my name.
Well,
Thanks for
amnesia
calling.
is a weird thing because there are different types of it, and some of them you do retain skills and things,
Hmm.
but lose personal history because there's
But it would have
story.
made for a better because it was very noir
It's a weird,
style.
yeah, it's a weird juxtaposition to throw in
It
there.
would have been. I think it would have been
Probably
more
on the
fun.
fusion reactor you're sitting on top of, and it fries your brain.
No, this is literally the whole planet had lost their memory. I'm guessing some sort of pulse wave or something, or whatever. But it would have made for a great noir detective sort of story in a world where everybody had forgotten, like almost
Mental.
everything, and watch it just slowly just crash into the ocean.
Neon Genesis Evangelion is a great series if you're looking
No,
for a
it wasn't.
manic depressive teenage boy.
And it wasn't Robot Carnival, or maybe it was Robot Carnival. There was like nothing but robots, and I think there was this one robot with blonde hair.
Why? I need to know why the fuck don't you like Neon Genesis, man?
Oh, I've never. I have no knowledge. I mean, I've heard of it, but I don't know if I've seen it because I've seen so many.
Then why did you immediately say no? It wasn't.
But no, he thought it might have been the one that I was talking about with the amnesia,
Oh,
or not the
oh,
amnesia, the one with the where the world was just nothing but busted up robots.
oh. Okay, no.
What's up, Bo? You want to
Bo?
join the show? You know where the link is, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm just upset that the Japanese live manned mech show never happened. Because I've ever seen a bunch of commercials for this. This was years ago that they're going to have like one of those war fighting robot shows, but with actual people in them. And then after a week of saturation advertising, it just disappeared. And you never heard about it again. I'm guessing someone from the legal department called upstairs, like, "Are you fucking high? Do you have any idea what the insurance would be on this?" But
No,
that
I
would be
think
glorious to
the
see.
American Challenger couldn't do it. Because they only had the two challengers, the Japanese one and the American one, and the American robot was like, and the Japanese one was kind of flimsy too. So
no worries, Bo. And with Gundam, Bo, you gotta go, what you gotta do, or at least I did, was go back to the beginning, and as soon as you stop liking them, you stop watching them. If the story compels you, mind you, the original stuff was a product of its time, and the writing wasn't meant to be superlative. But you know, later on with Wing and some of the other ones, maybe you could find
Yeah.
something. But it was a little over the top toward the end. It just almost like magic, and I don't
The
really
the
want
second
like
season of Endless Waltz, or Gundam Wing Endless Waltz, which was the second season, it was overly melodramatic. They tried to catch the same popularity, but they didn't. They went to the well of the original series in story writing instead of the more grounded one the first season had. But then they had that one I mentioned earlier, the
no,
Iron
but
Blooded Orphans or whatever it was called,
uh-huh.
and that one is like supposed to be really fucking dark,
Mm.
like really like none of the really melodrama bullshit. It's just a war story.
Yeah, thanks, Bo.
Yeah.
One second.
What?
Bo was telling a joke. Have you had a Challenger cocktail? It's an ocean spray with a splash of 7 Up.
What issue of Playboy did you steal that from?
I think it's one of them. He heard it at work jokes where he
Yeah.
works. They have a very twisted, morbid sense of humor from
It
what I.
is true. All the Japanese giant robot shows are full of child soldiers.
Yeah. Even my favorite one, Full Metal Panic,
From
child
what I've
soldier.
read. I might have to check out that Sun Dragon thing. 'Cause I just saw the picture of it, and it's got two mechs on there, definitely that BattleTech ripped off: the Shadowhawk and the Goliath. It's like
Uh, Dilgrim.
Fang of the Sun Dogum or something. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No,
is it a
that
gun?
was the show they licensed those mechs from, and it turned out Harmony Gold also licensed
Well,
them and
delightful,
tried to
huh?
sue.
You enjoy there, Anon.
Yeah,
I'm actually thinking about starting to watch that show. It's on my list. I think it's on
Peaky
Netflix,
Blinders.
but I haven't turned on Netflix in a year. And
I hear it gets pretty fucking degenerate,
mhm.
and they did Mosley bad in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm clueless about these anime shows.
Oh,
Oh,
Peaky
this one is
Blinders.
an anime. It's a British.
Oh, British. They're
Yeah,
just
Isn't it like a gangster movie? Gangster, organized
yeah.
crime.
organized crime with big robots. I dig it.
Oh,
Yes, but
yeah,
this is not big robots. This is 1930s,
20s.
30s and 40s, because near one of the mid seasons they have uh, Mosley in it.
Oh, okay.
It's a
Uh,
heyday for the big stompy robot
So,
series.
so,
Probably 60s and 70s.
so
yeah,
do you really
there was a resurgence in the 90s and early 2000s.
Robot jocks and crappy films like that. That was
I was
really
just getting to
Oh
that. The
yeah,
whole gladiatorial thing. Do you think that would ever really be a thing, or is that just complete Hollywood bullshit?
that's Hollywood bullshit.
it's
Too much resources.
potentially Hollywood bullshit. It depends on how fucking nutso governments go in building battle mechs, and then if those civilizations collapse, leaving a bunch of battle mech parts around in warehouses with nobody wanting them because they're stupid for war.
Well, I could
Oh,
see kind of a NASCAR thing happening where you had big like companies.
Mad Max with aggro
If there
mech.
was
Yeah.
enough, if there was enough
Yeah,
cash to be made on it.
yeah.
Dude, if I had an aggro mech and I knew I could armor it up with a fusion reactor and a particle cannon, I'd do it. I'd love to have one. Like Killdozer on steroids.
I mean,
Or,
if it's potentially made profitable, anything is.
Yeah, Bo. I
possible.
actually do quite often. That's kind of what I'm trying to work out here. in addition to the story I'm going to write next.
Yeah. Well, the big question is, what is the most expensive part about building a mech?
It'll be the energy source, be the reactor.
Well,
Okay.
that or the pilot, the brain, which interchangeable.
Well, pilots are pilots. Uh, the meatware is free as far as we're concerned, because there's always some idiot that will get into the fucking thing.
Mhm.
Well, from
Uh,
a practicality standpoint, like those, I hated the movie, but those things, and what was that? Dances with Smurfs, Avatar, like that smallish thing the guy was in. Something that like that might be practical, much
Yeah,
better than
what
that.
yeah.
exoskeletons like battle armor it will be
Or
more.
like Bo said, Sigourney Weaver's mech. I
Yeah,
could
Yes. Yeah.
definitely see,
That's an exoskeleton.
I could definitely see
Is Hunger
the
back
industri-
calling us news? No, it just jumped. The whole thing
I
just
think it
jumped.
gets to a certain point, it would just be
a
better
better
power.
forklift, let's call it.
Yeah.
But then you have that thing like with Star Wars with the walkers and that stuff there. Those would have uses like in forest. Track vehicles are going to suck in a forest. If I can walk through there and knock trees out of my way, that'll work.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
So
I
when
mean,
you
one of
get
the things
into
that
space,
works.
the terrain gets weird, and you have to have
Space
uh,
terrain.
space terrain, or you have to have a cockpit, like hazardous atmospheres. Then maybe I can see that.
I mean,
Well, what
There's things
about
that will work. ICE, internal combustion engines.
what about the components for nuclear technology?
Yeah, they're
Or
all fusion in BattleTech, and I guess does the Gundam and Macross ever talk about their power source, or is it just space magic?
yeah, it's a magical thing called protoculture. So
Space crystals. They're new agey with their crystals, but now they fuel weapons.
Um,
actually,
those are hamsters on wheels.
Answers.
I disagree with this because if it's easy to use, if they make the controls stupid easy to use, any idiot can pilot a fucking thing that's easy to operate.
right.
AIs require chips to go onto.
Well, not only that, but isn't there an issue with energy for an AI that
Uh,
gets
Yeah, they eat
kind
a
of
lot.
expensive after a while until
yeah.
they make it smaller because obviously the software is not the thing. It's what's powering the device that's holding the
The
software.
currently our bleeding edge large language models, which are not AIs, run the peak of computing
I
capabilities.
was talking about the weaponry bow, not the
Yeah,
actual reactors
yeah.
for making power.
Yeah. I mean, it all comes down to space magic after a certain point, but they never get into it because Battletech has fusion reactors and the polymers mimic human muscles with electrical
Mhm.
output, but it never really talks about how it changes it. Just says it's got a fusion reactor and it works.
Yeah,
So,
which is like fine. Well, I was thinking like raw material costs. We were talking about space mining earlier.
yeah. CBO cost, you could actually, a part
Yeah,
of doing a war game part of Battletech, and we've done full campaigns, is you have budgets for your mercenary units, right? And stuff costs money. So people will laugh about them Savannah Masters, but I'll take me 3 companies of Savannah Masters and I'll whoop the shit out of your Atlas, which costs you 5 times as much money. Because I'm going to have 15 small, medium lasers on your back every round.
yeah.
Yeah, I played in a match one time where it was a four-way, and one guy bought nothing but infantry, and we weren't set up to deal with it, and we were wrecked. We
If
were
they get into a
absolutely
city
wrecked.
environment or they have entrenchment, yeah, you're screwed.
The
I love combined arms with Battletech.
yeah,
It's
I
the
was just
best
about to
way
say
to
that
do it.
combined arms is
Yeah, it doesn't
always
make any sense to not include that.
And they're cheap. We're talking about like what 17 points, 17 battle
But yeah,
value.
that was one of the key selling points for me with the Mech Warrior like Hero Clicks game because you got a little every booster box or whatever had a tank, it had a couple of infantry, and it had a mech, and it just forced you to think you know in a way like Epic Space Marines because you had all three types, the rock, paper, scissors kind of thing. And, if you tried to make an army of all one thing, then, all they needed was the other thing. And, you know, rock, break,
Machine guns
scissors.
and infernos. That's all you need for all
I
that.
al- I always wished BattleTech had been played at 10 mm instead of 6,
Well,
and the mechs came on fucking plastic sprues with all the weapon
they are
options.
now. They're all pre-made now. I think they
Yeah,
look
no,
better now, but Catalyst is so gay.
yeah.
Was
I
it
agree with you
wasn't the
there.
HeroClick version 10 mil?
Yeah, I hate.
It
They
was
look
8.
terrible when they were cheap.
It was 8, and they were rubber.
Okay,
And they were
yeah, they were
terrible.
rubber.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
I
were.
played Mage Knight, which was their WizKids' first
Yeah, those were
click
cheap.
game. That was actually my first miniature game.
Yeah, nothing had a straight sword or a straight rifle. It was always
Yeah, but you just throw it in some hot water. As long
killed me.
as long as you didn't get the dial part wet, you're okay.
Yeah.
I think I preferred Palladium for a while, but now that I've gotten older, I wish everything just stayed with lead because lead was easier to work with. And the Palladium that Rob Harther then did snapped. It broke all the time. It was brittle.
Chewy.
I prefer model plastic, like chunky plastic.
Mhm.
But I also like modifying miniatures from time to time.
You can do that with lead. It's just a little bit more work.
Yeah.
Get the Dremel out, man.
Well, I use the Dremel, yes. That and like I fucking hate having to pin things.
Well, fair enough. I don't do it anymore either.
Yeah.
I wish I'd done all my BattleTech with magnets though, because you blow their arms off and legs off all the time.
That's what I started doing with my Titan Legion game, the new one that GW put out. I magnetized everything, the torso, the hips, I should say, all the weapons, and it's a lot more fun being able to swap things off. Because back in the old days, they made push fit weapons that came out very easy, but with the new GW model design process, everything is 40 parts for a tiny
Honestly,
it's like micro armor where it has like little extra bits that went on there, but they were made of a different metal and they never painted the right. They always looked off.
I honestly wish that the models were cheap enough that you could buy one for every variant you wanted.
Right. I tend to play one house and one house only, so I just buy the variants of the particular models I want.
Yeah.
But I've bought my minis forever. I do like Catalyst where the sizes are to scale instead of them all being the same size. I do like that.
Yeah.
But now they're
Catalyst is gay. What?
Where they don't release it all, and they make artificial scarcity.
Yeah. Well, I think they have low production runs.
Mm-hmm. And then only certain stories carry this box, and they only release X amount of boxes, and they're not releasing all of the battle mechs, and they're not releasing the old battle mechs. And this is
you gotta get on the Kickstarters when they come out.
you just gotta get a 3D printer and just make it yourself and print it.
Yeah, that too. Which I really got to get around to because fuck Catalyst.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't have anybody. No
Why
one
would
plays
to this day? I just don't get why any company would buy into that crap. Other than for certain reasons, why they would not.
It's
just
convergence, man. They get someone in HR, and that person starts hiring everyone.
No,
that has the mindset.
It's nepotism, but for crazy people.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I get it, but it still doesn't make any sense. It's still stupid.
Yes, it does, because they're not worried about.
Companies are subsidiaries of larger companies, and they see it as spending money to make money. For example, the whole thing with Gillette a couple years ago, everybody got all pissed off and stopped buying Gillette. Well, Gillette is owned by I forget who owns them. Huge company.
One of the seven.
BlackRock or Vanguard.
Well,
Piece of
Procter and Gamble. Procter and Gamble owns it.
Okay.
Procter and Gamble can afford
BlackRock
for Gillette
owns-
to hemorrhage money for 50 years. It's not really going to hurt them. And then that goes away. And then people are pissed off at, Walmart or frickin' Target for a little while. And it just becomes this game of whack-a-mole. And eventually everybody just gets tired of it and starts ignoring it
Well,
and they get their way.
it's not even that people start getting tired and ignoring it. People start internalizing the beliefs that they hated and believing it. Because it's not about money, it's about mental control.
Right.
They're investing in getting something down the line.
No, I get all that,
that
but
investment
it still
isn't in money, it's in you.
Yeah, but apparently they haven't learned anything over the last, dozen.
You've just missed the whole point we were talking about. They have learned. It's not about money.
No, I mean
I
I was
keep
going
telling
to say
you
about
about this.
The
It's about
boycotts.
fucking with you. The boycott means shit, man. You boycott this product for 3 or 4 days, but the thing that you replace it with is also fucking with you mentally. Because they also own that.
Unless you go purely local. I've gone purely regional on pretty much all my stuff, dude. When it comes to food and products, I just go
Sorry
right.
to flip out on you, man, but like
It's okay. No, I get it. It's just it's just
Yeah, because I mean, these big corporations are not woke. They don't give a rat's ass about that.
right.
They
It
they
seems to me
it for
that
what it
at
is.
some point
This is
it's going to have a really bad
religion
effect.
that they can exploit by giving lip service to its nonsense. That's all it is to them. There's this fanatic little movement, and if we just massage their egos, we can use them as foot soldiers.
Cutterlands? That sounds cool. Cutterlands.
Well, thankfully there are a few places out there we can still, find good product and games and
well, yeah.
If I need something from Catalyst, I'll get it on the secondary market, and I'll just have to wait a year or so.
But you're
I
still
wouldn't
buying
give
a
it-
thing that's from them.
well, someone did.
Yes, and because you picked it up from them doesn't mean like if a person is going to sell something and they buy something to sell it and they know they can't sell it because there's no one to buy it, they'll stop buying it.
Mhm.
Being a consumer down the line a bit is still being a consumer of the product.
That's why if I have to do something like that or I choose to do something like that, I make sure that I'm getting it at a significant discount so that at the very least the person who sold it to me will learn the lesson that yeah, I'm losing money doing this. So I'd have been better off not doing it in the first place, kind of thing.
And the things like with mechs, there's people who will print up mechs that
That's
they
what I'm
design
saying. Go
themselves.
for the alternative.
Right.
Amazon and eBay, and you will find plenty of
Etsy.
people who are making
Etsy
their own.
seems to have a real strong
Mech.
bunch of
Community.
people making all kinds of shit. I want to do more gaming again, and I keep finding like Cardassian and Cybermen that these people have been printing up themselves, and I'm like, that's kind of cool. That's something
Wait.
that you don't see a lot.
Wait. Cardassian from Star Trek and Cybermen from Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making little war games out of all these. They print them up like a war game unit, like a war game unit, and they put them up there.
Yeah.
Sell
So
them
they're
on
like
Etsy.
a system agnostic or
System agnostic. I just got to find a system to plug them into. Part of me just wants to, and they have one for Daleks too, which the salt and pepper shaker armory just doesn't make sense to me. But then you have them do like weird variants of stuff or obscure races that no one would ever think to use in a war game, right? They're there.
I know James gets a lot of really odd stuff.
Yeah, he got into the Dune stuff, and I was seeing that on Etsy when I was going through war game figures, right? That's what war game figures, and start flipping through it, and you find all kinds of weird stuff. But that's why I'm finding stuff from like old 70s TV series they made like units for, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. But the Cardassians, I dig, and I found these retro robots. I thought that'd be kind of neat to make an army of retro warbots being commanded by.
Cylons, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Cylons
Yeah.
would be super easy. Black pants and everything else is chrome.
it's right.
Well, that's the
I
old
make
school
fun-
Cylons.
Yes,
I
they're the
make fun of
best
myself because
Cylons.
I love Karita, but it's the easiest to paint.
Mhm.
It's shaded red, and then gunmetal for your weapons.
Yeah, they're basic camo pad.
That's the swords of light. Yeah,
But also, like they got these new super flexible resins now that are coming out. So you don't have to worry about dropping the thing and it shattering anymore. So
That was one of the things that kept me away for a while was just that I not only that, but I picked up some resin models a couple of years ago now, maybe 5 years ago, and I was painting this cowgirl, or not even painting. I was trying to assemble this cowgirl miniature, and I'm holding her by the legs and trying to glue on the arm, and the body heat from my hand was melting the actual miniature. It's like
yeah,
it's made out of chocolate.
that's not something's fucked up with that.
yeah.
Mhm.
It was getting a little too
That should
graphic. I had my
not be.
hand on her legs, my arm, my hand on her other arm, and
It was really spindly. It was really.
It sounds like a book I'm writing.
she was melting. It's funny.
Well, thank God we actually have the digital sculptors, the 3D modelers, that sort of thing out there doing this sort of thing because, there's going to come a point where 3D printing is it's just like AI art, and AI other things. We're going to find a way to do it ourselves. Maybe you're not very good at doing the 3D music or AI music, but you'll trade with someone for your services because you're a 3D modeler or you're a 3D printer. It's like, hey, I'll give you this for that, and next thing you know, we're back to the old bartering system, and
Well, you can always barter for things.
Yeah.
The thing I like about AI is if you're having trouble understanding something, you can just ask it about it, and it will explain it to you. Hopefully, its explanations aren't retarded.
yeah, like some of
But
the artwork. I was creating a character for Bo's game, trying to AI art it. Oh my God, some of the images were just awful. Just
yeah,
others though, I finally came up with one that was really good. It just takes a while, even when you think you've got a good image or whatever created, just hit the create button again a couple more times, and you know at some point it's going to get it right.
the the trick is to be persistent in the details
Hmm.
and repetitive in a task. But yeah,
In this, or even
it's going there.
cool.
I've had a long day. I was doing paperwork all morning. You can ask Bo.
You need
Beelzebub.
coffee, caffeine,
That's
and
cool.
methamphetamine. Where's your crank?
Beelzebub. I don't do any of those things.
No caffeine.
I gave up pop, and that was my only source of caffeine.
Yeah, I'm real proud of you. I gave that crap up, and once you get past the
It's all
headaches,
water now.
Yeah.
I didn't
think
have
I'm
any
sure that
headaches.
you got lucky. Then I had 2 weeks of steady headaches, and then I found out that the aspirin I was taking had caffeine in it. Fucking insidious bastards. That torqued, grinded my gears so hard when I found out that these aspirin
I
work
told the
great.
doctor twice if I should stop taking aspirin because I had a different doctor put me on an aspirin regimen, right?
Right.
And I got another doctor who's got me on Eliquis. And evidently, you're not supposed to take aspirin and Eliquis together because you get brain bleeds. And I brought it up to him twice. I've never gotten a straight answer about stopping or not stopping. It's like he forgets to give me an answer.
No wonder what he's on.
You know there are ethics boards
No, we get off topic because I try to get on a first name basis with doctors where I don't keep them. And he's a horror hound, so we always get sidetracked on horror films while we're talking about my stuff.
You know that is a good habit to get into with anybody that you have to deal with on a
Yeah. So what's
professional.
your first name? Shadow.
You guys will get it eventually.
It's
No, I
Milton.
meant like
It's
that you're gonna
like
bump into.
Greg, isn't it?
Greg.
He looks like
That's
a Milton.
close. That's close.
What? What was that, Bubba?
Milton.
Milton.
And
No.
Jackie's actual name is Bradley.
Bradley. No.
Milton Bradley and a huge wargaming fan. That's hilarious.
No, I actually I didn't mean the first name part. I meant having conversations about things besides what you're there for. With my
Yeah. Changing the topic.
Yeah, it takes
With
the
my,
it lessens the issue sometimes where it's just kind of like
with my number one accountant. I have very different conversations than I would with other people or other professionals like that, and it's helped out a lot. Uh,
Shadow, rich enough to have an accountant.
he said one of his favorite accountants, multiple accountants.
Right.
Yeah.
He's got the regular accountant and the one's cooking the books. He's that gangster. Who are you laundering money for?
different things. I don't like mixing things. Kind of like Gomez Adams.
That's
New
the three
business,
lawyer
old
principle.
business.
Yeah, I have the three lawyer principle. When we first got together, my wife was going through my filing cabinet, and I had files for three different lawyers. And I said, "This is Charles Daniels. He's the good old boy network down at the courthouse. So anything I take with him that's in that county where I grew up, half the time it wouldn't get to court. It would be settled off docket. No fuss, no muss, right?" And then Bruce handled all my regular real estate divorce stuff. What's Curtis? I was like, oh.
Well, I also find that it breaks down that line
It's for that
between
meth lab you have in the basement.
It's like it always goes back to guns.
that customer line where folks only look at you as a customer or paid client kind of thing. The sooner you can break that down, the more they'll remember to do their job right and remember who the hell you are, as opposed to you're just another number, another account. That's
And once you have a rapport, there will be things they will offer advice wise they wouldn't normally do, and also a little extra in performance, right? Because you are more than a client. You are someone on a friendly business level. It's different. It's the way it should always be done, right? In my opinion.
Well, that's the way it used to be when, like Justin would say, when societies and cities and towns were smaller and you literally knew everybody in your
I think the word was homogenous, but yeah, we get your point.
Homogenous.
I didn't really mean homogenous. I just meant,
That
Homogenous is the
increases
correct
the
word.
trust factor exponentially. See,
Oh.
when Justin doesn't do the pivot, sometimes I'll nudge his pivot.
Oy vey. We gotta run a joke, okay, Doc?
Yeah. But I guess everybody's most
Okay, whose
common
dog is that? That's
probably
not my dog this time.
Battletech, right?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's here. Yeah.
It's still Shadow's dog.
They're all my dogs, right? Is that what you're saying?
No.
My dog has been weird all day. I think he senses that the family is going away.
I
and he's
haven't
getting-
heard the smoke detector in a while.
Yeah, because I don't know why. To be honest.
Got to a certain point that it couldn't even make the beat no more.
Yeah, I'm
Shadow
kind of
stopped
bummed
being
because
black.
that means Well, hold on a second.
Beep.
Wait a minute, that's a monoxide detector.
Nothing to
changing
worry
the
about, just a little
detector.
radon.
Battery.
What?
Monoxide.
Oh, we had it break not too long ago. The smoke detector, the sensor went out on it. You know how long it took us to get it fixed? Less than 6 hours.
Yeah.
It broke at night. That's why it took that long.
Oh yeah. That would keep you up. We're
Oh,
gonna paint
I
the
removed
room
it
here.
and threw it out.
On mine. Think about putting one in each room is what I'm thinking about doing. And I don't like where the one is in the dining room. So it's about ready to go bye-bye.
We have one that is at the bottom of the stairs, right, which is just off the kitchen. And then we have one that is at the top of the stairs, which is the hall for the bedrooms. Whenever you toast something in the summertime,
Yeah.
they go off.
Yeah.
You put a pot of water on light boil, they go off.
We had that problem when things cook a little hard in the kitchen because we like a crust. So the venting was not done properly in this old house. I have a range hood, but it goes right back in the same room, so it's kind of pointless.
Yeah. This building was built in the 60s. The technology for that kind of stuff wasn't as sensitive back then.
Yeah. My house was built in 1840. So
Yes, but it's actually a house.
yeah.
Your walls are wood, not concrete.
Wood and plaster and more wood, I think. I'm gonna have to rerun some wires and stuff, and I'm really dreading it. Really dreading it.
A lot easier than it would be for me.
Concrete? You can drill through concrete.
Yeah.
Drill.
Yeah. We ran cable through the apartment that way.
You didn't go full wireless? You didn't go full wireless?
Daylight.
Well, back in the early 90s, they didn't have that.
That's true. That's true. I just set up a range extender for the backyard, and I've been trying to figure out my phone's been running like crap. When I set the range extenders for the backyard, I switched over, and it kept trying to get on the extender in the house. So it's like, what's going on? Also, I can stream movies outside for the grandkids. So,
What do you have like a big screen or do you have a projector?
projector, the big screen. Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw a projector like crazy cheap for like $25.
They make really good.
And it came with the 100-inch screen.
No, actually, this one they were selling side by side was an inflatable screen.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's kind of cool. I could definitely see that being.
That's gonna be more of a pain in the ass to wrap up. Like, yeah, you can just hit the button to inflate it, but when it comes time to take it down, it's gonna.
Yeah, well,
right, but
we're from the analog generation, dude. We don't get upset about that.
Yeah, but you know,
yeah,
you got two options: the one that just rolls up, and the one that has to be folded all.
Well, I'm going to redo the thing out there. Right now, we got because we already have the poles for backdrops for photography, right? So we just put that up there and made it real quick and easy. I'm going to put a concrete pad out there and a barbecue shanty, and I'm going to put the hooks on there so I can pull that on the outside. So when I'm not cooking or whatever, and we want to do movie night out, it's already set, clicks in real tight, nice and tight.
Yeah, I keep reminiscing about the
photography,
not just the drive-in, but the idea of being able to watch a solid movie, outdoors.
Yeah,
For some reason.
it's right by my fire pit, so I can set it up by the fire pit, put my feet up, have a nice fire, crack some cold ones. And this fall, it'll get more used when it's a little cooler out. So we'll be watching Svengoolie and Creature Features outside, popping a few beers.
If I wasn't planning on waving goodbye to California forever, the neighborhood that I'm in, I could easily see trying to set up like because I live in a cul-de-sac, so it'd be real easy. It's like, hey, we're blocking it off, and
Opo.
And
they're coming for you, Shadow.
Yeah,
Coming for you for buying things cheap in the secondary market.
It's weird.
Donald
My dog howling, but you can literally already hear the coyotes yipping. Normally, you don't hear them till after midnight, but it's been so. I mean, it's literally like I think it's
Doesn't look like a
110
full
out here
moon.
right now.
Yeah, it's been driving the bears down from the mountains down here, so we've been getting bears in town.
Well, I heard you talking about wanting a bearskin rug, so
Dude, black bear's delicious. If I find one in my backyard, I'm just going to shoot it.
Nah, you gotta be a man. Go out there with a fucking
bow
Swiss
and
Army
arrow,
knife.
Ted Nugent style.
Well, that takes multiple strikes. I count with that rug too. So I get a good nice shot in the head and get me
Swiss Army
bear
knife,
meat.
man.
Swiss Army.
Corkscrew.
Yeah, you need to take it down with a blade this long.
You better be careful if you're in the UK, man.
I was just watching this video about the unluckiest bear in the world is in Oregon or Washington State, and it was an albino grizzly. So some animal protection groups found it and thought it was a lost polar bear, so they shipped it up to the Arctic.
Oh,
And then people observing the polar bears are like, "What the fuck? This is a grizzly." So they shipped it back, and then it happened again, and then it ended up in a polar bear
Preserve.
zoo of polar bears. And then the people in the place were like, "Holy shit, this is an albino grizzly bear," and they shipped it back to fucking Oregon. The same bear.
This bear needs a lawyer.
He's trauma because on the second
Dude,
trip,
it's so good.
it just had to go towards the warmer climes. So it just started hauling ass back home like a cat, right? And they were like, "Oh my god, this polar bear is going wild." It's like, I'm getting home. Grizzly.
No. If you do manage that, do you think you'll need the skull?
Oh, they're weird about that. In Kentucky, if you kill it or it hit roadkill, you can keep it. So
Well, I'm just saying. Do you think you'll need the skull?
He wants
Once you
to
skin,
sell.
once you skin it, and you convert it into a rug.
Yeah, I doubt we'll actually get bears in town, but
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm just giving you this scenario, right?
Yeah. If he gets lucky, you get lucky, and then he gets lucky.
Yeah, you
I'll
said
probably go for
you
a
clean up
headshot.
that skull and you send it to me, okay?
if I find an extra skull, I'll give you one.
An extra.
Woo!
An extra.
If I killed a bear, I think I'd want half.
Ghost game.
He's got
Yeah,
a
but you
woman.
can't have the skull for the hat because it's too heavy.
Okay, you know Old School Fool in the conservatory, my buddy Ron, right?
Yeah.
He gets a bear every other year. They come in his backyard all the time. So he gets bear every other year.
One of these days, we're gonna turn on Justin's
Well-
show, and he's literally gonna be wearing the thing.
Where
Yeah.
I thought next time he gets one, I want some haunch because I'm gonna smoke it or something. I'll put it on the rotisserie.
Well, see if you can get a skull.
And then speaking of skull helmets, why? I guess I can kind of see it. You know how you always see like certain cave folks and things like that, that kind of thing, and they're wearing like the bull's skull.
Mhm.
And I get it. A bull could be pretty badass, but it's still a cow. You know what I mean? It's like it's still a fucking cow.
You gotta
know?
remember, these animals are herd animals and they trample things to death. So killing one means you killed a whole fuck ton of them.
I suppose.
Or you managed to lure one away, which is also
I
important.
mean, the old boars. I mean, not the boars, but the bulls of myth, dude. They were kind of big holy terrors, and they can kill you. They don't need to trample you. They can gore you to death.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was considered a Herculean task, wasn't it? Was it one of those, a boar?
Yeah, there was one
bull?
that was what was it called?
It was a giant bull.
Was it the? I want to say the Midas bull, but I know that's totally wrong.
It's my Mycia.
But yeah, that was one of the labors of Hercules. More water.
Mm.
Man, it is freaking.
Well,
Leave
this
it.
has been a slow episode.
No. We spent the first hour talking about giant stompy robots. I wanted to ask you guys some questions about armor. Because I think that's we were talking about repairing. Armor seems to be like one of the really deciding factors in actually making them work. Because if all you're doing is plating big ass heavy iron or steel to it, uh, do you think they're
Not good.
you
It
know
needs
like
to be solid.
uh,
Well,
like for example, Robotech and Palladium's like mega damage rules, where they've come up with this magical whatever polymer or whatever
Mhm.
that's so resilient. Even other game systems had things like that. Like Gamma World had its Duralloy and things like that. Do you think that's going to be a
Yeah, you can come up with space age materials or whatever.
yeah, I think it's inevitable.
Yeah,
But
it's still going to be like composites. Like with tank armor now, it's just not just metal. There's like
right?
layers of Kevlar, then mesh, and there's spaces in between.
there's the
Yeah, when
the
Battletech called stuff
ablative armor on the top.
ferrofibrous, it was really just composite armors, right?
Yeah.
Composite armors made in space, which made it super, super effective or whatever. It was made in orbit and not under gravity.
But in your games, would you ever
That's actually a thing that's true. Making things
allow
in
for
zero
or
G
incorporate
is-
a an army or a faction, if you will, that made that ultimate breakthrough where it's just bouncing shit off it left and right, or would that be too?
Because you get to a certain thing where most of the stuff we have is a chemical reaction that burns through armor and gets inside, right? It's not really piercing and blasting through as much.
Right.
Although they have found out that recoilless rifles versus some of these modern composite armors fucks it up. They did find out going old school was actually like,
That's why a lot of
third
tank
world they have an advantage.
that's why a lot of tank penetrators have the penetrating nose tip, and then once it burrows in, it releases the
Sidewalk round, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of anti-armor rounds are just designed to like literally melt the interior level in armor and just spray it into the compartment.
Right in there. Liquefying metal, bouncing around, scalding and liquefying the people inside.
Yeah, so I mean, there's always going to be an arms race between people designing armor and designing the weapons to deal with it.
Now the question is, those kinds of rounds are going to be kind of useless against drone tanks.
Well,
Right.
They still burn
you're going to
wire
have
and stuff.
concentrated electronics and stuff that you can damage.
But
is the thing.
it'd probably be a lot easier to armor that than.
Oh, if you don't have people, it's like the
Jacob
person
or-
is going to be the weakest component in a vehicle.
Then you get to where then it's more about microwaves and jamming and where does it work. Like
Yeah.
like I'd make an example. GPS guided munitions are now useless. The Russians have basically shown us that JDAM, the GPS guided bombs, went from 75% effective to 7. They're useless now. Trash. So
Okay, so conversely, do you think, because if you look at a lot of sci-fi, they tend to all have adopted like a universal weapon, whether it's lasers or something like that.
That's because it's cheaper for the prop department.
Well, I was also thinking, in a lot of anime, it appears at least that they're all
It's
using,
cheaper for the animator.
instead of drawing, animating the shells being spewed out from the heavy machine guns type of thing. Sure. Do you think though that there will come an ultimate weapon that this is just because of cost and effectiveness, this is
Well,
just
are we talking about
We
small
already have that.
guns
It's called a
or
nuke.
like large guns?
large?
capital ships are for battles.
Military grade. Let's just go with that.
It
Like
depends
in
on
atmosphere, you're going to have different weapons versus that what you can use outside of atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
It's that stupid gun from the Fifth Element.
the Swiss Army gun from space.
I actually love that, but I
It's just
do
so
realize
silly.
how ridiculous.
Don't
it
hit the red button.
is. The dismantler. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
They had that same joke in Red Dwarf as well. The bazookoids. You hit the dismantler and it just falls apart. I'm just like,
I remember when I was in the Army, I had a sergeant who referred to grenades as kinetic disassembly devices, and I thought it was hilarious.
Frag. When in doubt, frag.
Well, for instance, like in small arms, I don't really think like lasers and things like that are ever going to be practical because there's too many issues with it. You have blooming through the atmosphere. They're going to be producing insane amounts of heat. You have to worry about flash blinding your own troops. It's your own kinetics. There's nothing like a good old fashioned dose of kinetic energy for putting a hurt on a fellow.
And it's
I mean,
cheap
they'll
to
probably
make.
go magnetic at some point.
Rail guns, but
Caseless,
still
rail guns, that sort of thing. Yeah.
rail guns, but still, I
I think
those
your
are
support
a
weapons might end up
long
being
time away
railgun.
before
In the
they're
end of the day, you'll have caseless slug throwers.
yeah.
It'll end up being because it'll be cheap to make, and cases will mean you have tons and tons of ammo. It'll be like aliens. We have that counter going down because you've got so much ammunition. You need a digital counter to keep up because you can't figure out how much you fired, right? And you notice that those things had thousands, were in the thousands. So each clip was like 1,000 shots.
Yeah,
Those
those
are
are just little
I thought it was 100.
And the other thing
those
you
just
have to
little
do,
like flechette rounds or whatever.
and the other thing
Yeah,
you have to
the
worry
flechette
about
rounds,
is
bunker
that's
busters.
power based. Once you get a certain energy density in a battery, it's a bomb.
Yeah.
So you then have to worry
And,
about
and
that.
don't get it wet.
If you've got something that's like a super small bomb, well, a battery, like you said, charged energy, and you can move it fast enough, you can have something like a fat sewing needle round. Like it's like that small,
Needler.
but it's moving so fast that it doesn't matter when it hits you. It's like a fucking you got a grenade just hit you like a fucking like a fucking bomb hit you. You got like some C4 strapped to your chest going off or something stupid like that.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that there's as much force coming back on the person firing the weapon as the person's going to
Yeah,
absorb. Actually, a
We can
little
mitigate
more.
that. I mean, we have mitigated that. The Super Crisp,
stabilizers.
yeah, stabilizer. Well, the Crisp Super V, the way they got the firing pin rocks back and down and into the stock, makes a
Yeah.
45 feel like you're firing a 22. So we will find ways to do that, and I've seen them experiment with the ports at weird angles. They're terrible ideas because they give away precision, but I could see reducing the kickback and stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think you're ever, for like small arms, I don't think you're ever going to go away from slug throwers. It's just too practical.
Right. Too cheap, too practical, too cheap.
It's just how you're throwing the slug.
Right. Especially if you are, putting them in the hands of, humans or something like that. Why spend any more money?
Now, when we get powered armor, like battle armor and stuff, you might see the evolution of the small arms and support weapons. Like your support weapons get a little bigger, and that could be your energy weapon, or your rail gun for the bigger suits of armor. Just like you have anti-tank with every squad, right?
Well, you can already buy a railgun, like a handheld railgun.
I've seen, they're just not very fast. The FPS is too low. You might as well be using a pellet rifle.
That's pretty much what they are. You can shoot a squirrel with one. That's what
Are you talking like the electromagnetic ones?
Yeah, that's what a railgun is.
Right. Well, some science fiction. It's talking about the actual round as opposed to the magnetic launching.
Well, there's different. A Gauss rifle is distinct from a railgun. Uses an actually a sliding magnet, whereas a Gauss gun uses a pulsed magnetic, generally through coils. It's like it's different. It's basically the same effect, just different way of doing it.
Yeah.
But if you're firing at people that are only wearing a vac suit, all you need is a pellet rifle.
Yeah. And the weapons that you need to use in space are another whole issue because then you have to worry about thermal shock. You can't have any oils because they're just going to evaporate immediately. So
you'll get shredders. You'll get stuff that's micro
gyrojets for in vacuum. Gyrojets will probably come back because they'll be very useful for that.
You think so? Because the original ones were crap.
Oh yeah, but I mean it's it was an abandoned technology because there was just no advantage to it. But if you're talking about using it in a environment like in a vacuum environment, where all of a sudden you need to do something like that because you can't really use a conventional firearm anymore, it'll get picked up and it'll be improved.
Yeah,
It was
they
just
put
something
pressure
nobody
on
bothered to advance it because there wasn't any advantage to it.
Um,
But you got to fight gravity. But if you're fighting in space as a boarding party, that stops being a problem.
Yeah. Plus, you want to absolutely minimize recoil if you're doing anything in space.
Right,
The
because
jets are going to have very minimal recoil.
magnetic boots are not going to cut it. You fire something like that, you're going to do a neo.
Break your ankles. Well, you have a higher chance to break your ankles if you're, yeah.
Well, it depends on how high the boots go up and how much reinforcement, but you're all the way at the knees, and you're not going to be able to get back up.
You need that exosuit. You need the exosuit.
yeah, lots of knees up every time you fire automatically.
Like the glitter boys in Palladium, where it actually drove this like several meter pylon, just this right through your legs, had these bars or whatever that would just drive themselves into the ground so that you wouldn't get knocked off your feet when you fired the weapon. It was pretty dumb. It was really dumb.
Well, but then your spine is absorbing it, so it's kind of like
Your organs.
is that really an improvement?
You just spread the everything in your body has like a sliding lock plate.
Right, you literally
like
have
half
to,
your mass is lock plates.
Yeah, except your brain.
But I mean, when you think about firearms technology now, it really, except for like improvements in ballistics, I mean, firearms haven't really improved in 100 years in of themselves, except for minor little things. Like 1911s and HP 35s are still some of the best weapons ever made. They're over 100 years old.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, we love to kill each other, so we maxed that technology out very quickly. I mean, it's all little refinements now. There hasn't been a major breakthrough in decades and decades.
Well, I kind of suspected if there was, they would scoop it up, and you'd never talk about it again.
Well,
Stop with the conspiratorial thinking, Shadow.
They would turn up. You'd start seeing it.
You know I'm right. If someone came up with a way to
No.
make something vastly superior,
You know how many people would have to be in that conspiracy? Too many for it to exist.
well, it depends on who's a part of the invention process team. If it's a couple of guys, they're going to get an offer they can't refuse.
Yeah, I think you're underestimating the ability or the lengths of how many people these people will go to kill to keep secret.
But this kind of thing would not be the kind of thing they would keep secret. It would be too trivial.
Plus, once it
Right,
starts,
because it's also a display of power.
It's
If I have a better gun, I want everybody to know I got the better gun.
Yeah.
And,
But everything's got to be a fucking secret for this guy.
not everything.
Even the stupidest thing. They invented a new colored toilet paper, and they're keeping it secret.
I wouldn't go that far. Have you
You
guys?
have gone that far.
No, literally no. Have you guys kept up on some of these? I get a lot of videos of people making their own firearms.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
We've always done that. I don't understand how that's a new thing.
that's nothing new at all.
Well, I only started coming across them a couple of years ago, and it's amazing what people have, between the simplest, like the zip gun, to stuff that's like, will you make me one?
You know, like
You know what I mean?
when you have access to a machine shop, the first thing you make is a grease gun. The tricky part is you really you fight with making a magazine because wait a minute, how does this actually work? How come the spring is just jamming me all the time? That's your biggest headache, figuring out how to make an actual magazine.
Yeah, I remember seeing something that was very akin to. I mean, it looked like a bolt gun from 40K, but it was a shotgun pistol, a semi-automatic shotgun pistol.
Easy to make.
It was just like,
And it's funny. It's actually easier to make a machine gun than anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
mhm.
it's easy to modify any semi-automatic for the most part. I remember with the SKS and a few Rugers.
I don't know anything
was
about
a quarter-inch thing of rubber. Now, granted, you couldn't shut it off.
Well, yeah, eventually it shuts
Well,
off.
it's gonna run out. What is my barrel warped?
Probably shouldn't have made this belt fit. Oh well, that's fine.
The funny thing is, hand crank's legal.
Hand cranks are legal.
It's absolutely legal. You do this, you could have a machine gun. You can have a Gatling gun. It's perfectly legal.
All you have to do is cut that handle off a bit, put a
Right.
gear
Well, you
on
can't
there.
put a belt through it, but you can put a clip up and do this. Perfectly legal.
Mm-hmm.
Very impractical, but
Cut that handle off, attach a gear to it, and just
now,
put
once
a
you
little
automate
motor.
it for a trigger, that's the wording of the law. Though, once you automate it for a single trigger pull to get multiple bullets, and settle
You guys are of course talking about Twilight 2000 games, right?
Yeah, sure. Not our constitutional rights to self-defense. Can't
right?
talk about that stuff at all.
And remember, it's self-defense against the cop entering your house without a warrant.
Sometimes it is. Yeah.
And you deserve to have a 5-barreled weapon rotating really fast, shooting many rounds at that fucker, cutting him in half.
Dude,
for
I'm for being able to mind your
not
front
wearing
yard.
pink or whatever.
I'm for minding your front yard.
Okay, maybe minding your front yard is a little far.
Yeah, I've got a kid and a dog.
Get off my lawn.
The
What
neighbor's
lawn?
poodle might run over by accident.
Even better. I don't like poodle.
Poodles are evil.
Yeah, you're terrible. Okay. Here's another one then. Robot or AI versus manned piloted giant stompy robots.
It's the energy consumption for the AI. Plus, I think at a certain point, people are going to not want to let AI make decisions like killing people.
Yeah, I
agree
doubt
with
that, but okay.
It'll be frowned on. But at the moment, there's a race to let AI make the decisions so everyone else has their hands off the fucking murder. Right.
Which is
No, the person who
that's
owns the AI
your
is
favorite
responsible.
expression.
Well, they want to have a degree of separation for making the call.
You make the call, you send them out there. You're just as complicit as if you pulled the trigger.
Right. But that's how these people think. We're about legalisms. Okay, we didn't know it was going to kill all the civilians. It made it cost.
You literally told it to kill all the civilians.
So that way they can blame it on a malfunction and not a decision. But
what I was actually referring to is, what do you think is going to be better?
the AI, they won't miss.
In
It won't be like the robot stormtroopers do who fire into this. It'll be them all walking, and when you pop your head up, you're shot instantly in the side of the head.
Yeah, every time you hear one of its guns goes off, it kills
Someone
somebody.
dies. Yes.
Yeah.
And they're doing that
person
experiment
was
already
really
with
lucky.
DARPA and stuff, and they're pretty horribly accurate. So it doesn't work. The thing is, I think the problem is where it doesn't have a human eye, that there will be things you can do that they won't be able to target you. They'll just be like
aerosols and things like that.
You ever see the AI
shirts, man?
The AI tracked camera, and the 2 Marines walked right past it by walking in awkward shapes and pretending to be like garbage cans or whatever.
Right. Gate control.
Yeah. It messed them up. But there was in the earlier days with the recognition, you could have like these really weird fractal shirts, and it completely frazzled it. It couldn't focus on you because
your Orion shirt was fucking with it.
I was just picturing like training for soldiers with watching the Silly Walk sketch from out the
I was thinking the same thing.
It was exactly like that.
The ultimate camouflage is this thing that wouldn't work or anything, right? It's so retarded looking, you stick out like a turd in a punch bowl, but all the AI ignores it.
Well, the Brits started assigning one person to every like major deployment that was colorblind, because the colorblindness would cause them to see camouflage like it was like would stand out like a sore thumb because
Yeah.
the colors were just off.
Yep. Their perception is different.
Well, usually if you're colorblind, you have better detail and movement vision anyway, because that's what usually causes it. You just have more
That's
detail.
why predators see black and white.
Yeah.
What about in like the off chance that you're actually in like actual melee combat? Do you think the human brain is going to be better at that, or the AI?
Iffy.
The AI will be faster at what it's programmed to do. The human brain will probably be better at knowing what to do.
Extrapolating and
Yeah.
improvising and
Yeah. We will be always better at adapting to new situations where the AI will have to re-figure it out. Where you could get to a position, a point where certain situations will cause them to freeze.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Whereas-
they won't freeze. What they will do is fill in. I'm judging by using AI now. They'll fill in with stupid answers,
Right.
right? So it'll be like, what do I do when the poodle comes across the line? And it's like, you would say, shoo the poodle away. It says, drop a nuke.
Yeah.
Over a fucking poodle.
Possible.
Which, isn't a wrong answer.
Okay, what about the planning stages of assaults, strategy and tactics? Do you think the people are going to be able to?
Everybody's got a plan till the bullets start flying. Yeah. But
Yeah. And people are a lot better at making long range plans.
Yeah.
You want to know what to do in 20 minutes? AI is okay. You want to know what to do next week? Once again, it's going to start nuking poodles.
So tactically, it might be superior, but on strategic level, it's going to fail.
So it'll win the battle, but not the war.
Wars are won on strategic level, not tactical level.
Right. So,
but I think tactical level, there's a lot of adaptability issues, and top down has a hard time with tactical situations sometimes. Doesn't adapt fast enough.
What's going to get very interesting is like with things like Neuralink when you start combining the two.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is what's going to start getting very dicey.
And that guy that they have testing that now, that guy that they had testing it, it's moving a lot faster than. Right, so this is a paralyzed guy, and he's doing the pointer thing, the digital pointer, where he used to have a stick in his mouth, and he's like, "We thought this would be much slower, and it's actually gotten faster than he was before with the stick." Yeah. Elon is actually making moves towards saying he's gonna do his best to make sure you can't like upload things to it without being hard linked. You have to actually have the pad touching the area, but who knows how far that's going to last. And
right. Well, as soon as it'll last as long as he's alive at best.
No, because Elon's a bloviating idiot, right? So,
right. But as soon as someone inherits his company after he's
no,
gone,
I doubt he will even stick to it.
No.
It's just that unlike the other people in the field, he's actually saying he's going to try and keep that stuff protected. But who knows how long that's worth?
Yeah, not very long at all. Especially, when people start lining up to be plugged in.
Right.
Yeah.
The power of escapism is very powerful.
in principle, the technology fascinates me. Like, if I could be guaranteed some assurances, I'd probably get it, but not for escapism, just for like.
Well, that's what they're going to get everybody, though.
Yeah, replacing keyboards.
Reality is going to be so shitty that
like
jacking in and making things easier and being able to just tune it all out will be too much.
Yeah.
It'll be the most powerful drug ever. You Like heroin.
Look at how they got everybody to give up their privacy and all their information just by making it convenient to them.
Yes, convenience is the biggest. It kills me.
There is some good movement to try and reverse that policy, though.
Yeah, I just
Let's
don't.
hope so. I would hate to see, everybody around me plugged in, and I'm one of the last guys, like in that show we were talking about the other day, being the only guy who's not plugged in, and suddenly I'm the retard. Not like that's going to be a big change, but I just
Yeah, I just
As
got
a note, retards always seem really happy compared to the rest of us.
yeah.
except for those ones that are the exact opposite.
I just gotta.
President.
Downs syndrome guys are always the happiest dudes in the room, dude.
Yeah,
Just give him a cheese sandwich, you'll be all right.
it's like they just got laid or something.
Always.
Always.
I wish I could get excited about stuff like people, children or retards do. I wish I could get that excited about stuff anymore. It's like, oh,
You don't? I do all the time.
Yes, you know why?
Well, I was going to say
You're not a child.
guys are,
You walked the fuck into that one, bro. You walked directly into that.
I was going to say something, but I'll leave it in a private chat.
I'm waiting for you to get me back one of these days.
Oh,
But I think you're too much not a child to do so.
Yeah, my grandkids come over. They're so excited about chocolate milk and stuff. I was like, I wish I could get that excited about stuff now. Now, granted, I haven't had crab rangoon in so long that the next time someone put crab rangoon, I might be like an ecstatic teenage girl with crab rangoons.
yeah, I can't imagine that.
So good.
No, like the other day, to give you an example, Planet of the Apes Kickstarter. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I saw that and I just about lost my shit. I'm like, that looks fun. That looks.
I like Planet of the Apes, bro, but it wasn't that good.
I never got into it, but I
You
was
gotta
more
understand-
excited about Battlestar Galactica than I ever was Star Wars, and everybody else is crazy about Star Wars.
Well, see, that's how early I was into sci-fi. When when was the last time you even seen one of the original movies on like TV? Well,
the
when I
TV
was
series. You forget that was a TV series with all the action sets and stuff too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, Planet of the Apes was everywhere. In the
it
70s.
was literally like the first worldwide phenomenon when it came to sci-fi that everybody knew it, everybody had seen it, everybody loved it, or at least had you couldn't walk down the street without seeing somebody with a Cornelius T-shirt or some bit of swag during the mid 70s. It was
Flash
just
Gordon, I think, might have had more cultural impact for science fiction, but you didn't see swag.
right because people couldn't afford it. It was only the rich
Wasn't
kids
a
that
mass-
actually had
wasn't
like
pop
the ray
culture.
gun and stuff like that. If it, wow, that's a big ass crow. It just wasn't as not just mainstream but affordable. I mean, literally, you name a product, from food to clothing to toys to everything. There was a product with some sort of logo or imagery on it.
Yeah, it was the first one that was mass merchandise like crazy. That was even before Star
Lunchbox,
Wars.
exactly.
Star Wars made the big giant leap, but Planet of the Apes did it first.
Yes, and
Yeah, it was
mind you, I was
absolutely
in single digits when that was a thing, and my old man said, "Hey, watch this, you'll love it," and he was right. It was just I'd never seen anything like that. None of us had, It was just between the costumes, I mean, you had sci-fi, you had horror, mixed in, and it just stuck. So when I saw the Kickstarter, and all the cool little bells and whistles, the Statue of Liberty dice tower, and the cool ass
That's
mini.
still cool, man.
You gotta admit that is a freaking cool ass. I mean,
You know
of
what?
all the dice towers
Planet of
I've
the Apes didn't
seen,
have.
what?
Huh?
You know what Planet of the Apes didn't have?
Huh?
Big stompy robots.
Yeah. You know what though?
It could have.
I was kind of thinking. Do you guys remember Sliders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
great
good.
TV show.
Okay, was it the Cro-Mags? Was that it?
Cro-Mags are awesome. They kept conquering because they wanted to find other Cro-Mags, and like they couldn't find more Cro-Mags, so they just got more angry and angrier. Yeah.
Imagine
I get
them.
that.
Imagine them, or orcs, if you prefer. Building their giant stompy robots as their next new, you know, uh, great idea. I think that's something I'm trying to toy with, is because 90% of all the sci-fi that involves giant stompy robots, it's human versus human.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
When you throw in that alien element, you get to break a lot of the rules that we've been
Originally,
talking.
no, because that the War of the Worlds had the original big stompy robots.
Okay, but they weren't really stompy so much.
The tripods were stompy.
Yeah, I saw them as more like
They had the
if they
heat
tried
tank.
to stomp something, they were going to fall on their face. Yes,
Yeah.
they could crush things, but not like I mean, you picture like an orc gargant; it could lift its knee all the way up and just revel in the stomping. It was the
Yeah.
Martians were more methodical, insect-like, and didn't seem to be relishing the battle.
The
They had
destruction they
lazy.
caused mostly came from their heat ray.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was more of a gun platform.
Mhm.
Yeah. But and what was that
Yeah.
one fucking movie they made where they just turned them into flying saucers? Like,
Yeah, that was the original.
Yeah.
That was the 1950s
Mars Attacks.
War of the Worlds.
yeah, gay.
Classic.
You know what?
classic.
In the evolution of
They
sci-fi,
they took away the legs from the fucking robot. That's gay. That's what I'm talking
they
about.
just took the legs away.
Yeah, man, they
They
floated.
were like little little like manta ray looking ships with a big like tube that had the eye thing on it.
Oh yeah, in the very first
they,
color
they
version,
were like a copper color.
they,
And
they
then, like,
almost
in
look
the-
they almost look
green
like
lights.
almost kind of like dragon or manta ray shaped,
Yeah.
weren't they?
Yeah, they mantas.
Yeah, those were kind of creepy for me as a kid.
Yes,
the
but they
first-
didn't have legs, and that was gay.
He's a leg man.
He's a leg man.
I'm right there with you, and I got a reverse call I made on you. I was watching some of the Firefly behind the scenes, and when Summer Glau isn't all sweaty and her hair isn't all greasy and shit, she cleans up real nice, dude.
Yeah,
I-
Summer
You
Glau
know,
was
hot when she's
fucking-
greasy. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Maybe
she's
hotter.
In
hot.
Firefly, there were some times that she looked like she needed a shower.
Even when she sweats, she doesn't sweat.
She glowed.
glistens.
But I'm
Glows.
still gonna put my money on Morena Baccara, even when she chopped off her hair. Just saying.
I'm just saying, I liked Terminator Summer Glau a bit better, especially because she took her top off a few times. Still wear a bra, but
All right, that's fair. That's fair. So what I was getting at with the aliens,
I can perv out with the best of them, bro. I'm a Summer Glau fan. I am a Summer Glau appreciator.
I thought Kayla
I'm
was
sure she will appreciate the
aged better than
appreciation.
everybody else.
With alien giant stompy robots, you can justify breaking a lot of the rules with everything we've talked about with the composite materials, with the weapon styles. I mean, you can really kind of go nuts with it. And other than like the Zentradi, which were just big humans, the Martians, little humans, with big heads. If you thought about something really either like insect like or some other comparable Earth critter that learned to make big giant stompy robots, I think you could come up with something that's not gonna be Pacific Rim, although that was fun. It was at least the first one was even the second one. They were fun, big giant stompy robot movies. I hated the way they were piloted with that.
The Dance Dance Revolution controls.
Thank you. That takes all the fun out of
Whoever come up with that idea should have been smacked across the back of the head, then kicked in the balls, and told to go home. And if they were a woman, they should have been
because
smacked
clearly
across the back of the
they've
head,
never actually
kicked in the
sat.
balls, and told to go
Whoever
home.
did that has never sat in the cockpit of a real airplane or a Formula One racer. I've done both, and the feeling, with all that machinery around you, the buckles, the handles, the different gears and all the different mechanics that were required. Even if you go back to, if any of you ever played the BattleTech game where you had the foot pedals and everything, you ever got a chance to play that?
No, I
Battle
wanted to
pods?
very badly.
Yeah, I mean
No.
that's the way it should be. Now you throw an alien in one of those situations, he's sitting in, or maybe built in or grown in to something like that. You get a whole new dynamic, I think, with the battle because human versus human, it easily becomes more about the politics, I think, and the reasons why they're doing what they're doing. When you've got the aliens, you can always leave that ambiguous. You don't know, they're just here and they're blowing shit up. There is no time to talk, there is no time to negotiate. They've got
You
their
guys remember
agenda.
that cartoon Exo Squad?
Yes.
I remember the
Yeah.
name. I can't remember anything about it.
Didn't they fight aliens?
They fought aliens, and there was supposed to be something cool coming up for the next season, but it got canceled.
Hmm. But that see, I could see something like that, fighting an alien species, especially if it's a bit larger, that would uh, be a catalyst for creating big stompy robots. When the beings that we're fighting, range in height, much larger than us to,
Like
gigantic.
15 feet. That's all you'd need to justify it.
Right. As soon as
Would choose different species do something that goofy though? Because I mean, really, a tank is just a better platform. I mean, it's kind of explained away in BattleTech. Is yes, it's impractical, but it's become this like cultural thing,
Mhm.
and that's why they do it. But
What if the invaders don't actually fly? What if they only open portals right there on the planet?
well, if you're
Yeah,
going to do that, it's
so
best just to send ordnance through.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, why even show up then, except to like
They
clean
need
it up?
bioweapons and nukes.
Sure, sure. But if you give them their own cultural reasons, they they love to battle, or they've got some sort of Klingon samurai code of
We
ethics.
have parallel technological development where they didn't develop certain things. Like
Well,
certain
exactly,
the
because
world had a power source that didn't need nuclear fission, so they never developed nuclear weapons. But the power was so much better they discovered warping or jumping in space as opposed to having to use ellipses.
yeah, that's my point. Is when you do that as opposed to humans. With humans, you've got to go with what we know and what we can, you know, justify. When you throw in an aliens, you can just, I mean, look, Robotech was ridiculous. Okay, 100 foot tall
don't
Zontronic.
go full Robotech. That's all I'm saying.
Don't go full Robotech.
Well, no, but because with the third series, it was about the aliens that were actually fighting the Zentradi and the Masters, that were an alien species that were a bigger threat than the Zentradi, and that's why everything was. But the 100 foot tall or 100 meter tall, humans with blue skin was just it justified the creating of the giant stompy robots, but that's about as far as you can get with that. It was kind of dumb. But like we said, with if you just had a race of 15 foot tall aliens, well, after the first invasion, and Earth, fights back, or it's desperately coming up with trying to come up with a new way to fight them, you could easily bring that in and go, okay, this is what the brass came up with, giant stompy robots. Let's go. Who's in? And then you get a bunch of weirdos like us lining up. Yeah, I'll sit in the cockpit, no problem.
Whoa, big giant robot.
Right? I know, right? I mean, I mean,
That would be my life, man. I wouldn't care. I'd be big giant robot cockpit in a heartbeat. I would shoot someone and step in line, taking his place. I'd be stealing Bubba's identity. I'd be like,
definitely something to you know not only justify but
yes,
maybe
my name is Carl Albertson. I'm just
Babinski.
assuming. I'm just assuming that's what Bubba's real name is. It's nothing like that. It doesn't matter. It is now.
As long as it's not Wilbur.
Wilmer. It's
Yeah,
Wilmer Fudd, right?
FUD.
Now he's probably got like a deep dark secret that he's trying to keep hidden like me. So I'll afford him his anonymity. But
I want to know what your fucking
Pretty
real
sure my
name is,
name is
bro.
right on my YouTube channel. I think my email. My name is Daniel. I don't care.
I'm gonna go dox you right now, Bubba.
Go ahead. I've been doxxed before. I don't care.
I would say where you can go find my name, but if you can't figure out where to find it, you're really dumb.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, but I do think the big stompy robots wouldn't be humanoid. I think they'd be more insect-like. Having multiple legs makes more sense than two.
the
It's
two
gonna be
legs
far
is
more stable.
definitely. I've got a bunch of actual robot minis that are 4, 6, and 8-legged spider types. It makes a lot more sense. But to be honest, I was the favorite. My favorite mech that I designed was actually an amalgamation of a tank with a big stompy robot. No legs. It's got tank treads coming right up out of it. Kind of like a treaded centaur, if you will.
Like a lot. Yeah.
That way, it's got the arms, it's got the ordnance, it's got places for all kinds of weapon mounts. But then it's got two big robot arms that can do robot arm stuff. Picking things up, smashing things, moving things out of the way, instead of destroying everything.
What was that fucking car show robot called again?
Robot Wars or something?
No, the
Truckosaurus.
Truckosaurus. So you built Truckosaurus.
I don't know. I vaguely
Did
remember
it
it.
also run on propane and propane accessories?
The boy ain't right.
Yes, I sell crack cocaine and crack cocaine accessories.
No, Truckosaurus ran on propane. It actually did.
Really?
Yeah.
That's got to be a lot of propane.
I don't fucking know, man.
Efficient,
I didn't
though.
build the thing. I didn't design it.
Only downside is it blows up.
I think that happened several times.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because didn't breathe fire?
Yep.
Why would you make something like that and not have it breathe fire?
I was going to say, yeah, because I was about to cut
You're
in.
a girl.
If you have the skills to make a Truckosaurus, you make a goddamn Truckosaurus.
Yeah. Welcome to America, man.
Otherwise, you lose your man card, or you never get to talk about what you can make again.
We got rounds that turn your shotgun into a flamethrower. Okay.
Dragon breath? Yeah. Those are amazing.
Have you ever fired dragon breath?
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
cool, man.
I see. Got put one in a judge.
Oh, you're shitting me.
They make a 410 version.
They make a 410? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I know my new supervillain identity now. Oh, my God. You could do so much evil shit with that. Oh, my God.
Do they have that option as a weapon in man?
I don't know. I guess I think I know what.
Because I know what my Mormon's equipped with now.
Killer Rabbit, yeah. I don't know. I was actually thinking Killer Rabbit should be more a melee guy.
Yeah. I don't care what the fuck you guys doing. I'm just standing over here looking straight laced and blowing shit up. So Doc, I hear you're running that game for us.
Which is this? Oh, the med game.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a copy of that as soon as I get my next paycheck because it just anything that offends that many people, I have to.
Which one are you gonna go? Are you gonna go with the original or the new one?
Oh, there is a new one.
Wretched.
Yeah,
Man.
Wretched.
They made Wretched being watched. I think it's free though.
If
really?
it's free.
Yeah, I
Somebody
might still
like-
have the original on a as a PDF somewhere, but. Oh my God! Now, if we could only find someone who could draw it, chronicle it and then comic book it. I could definitely.
We really need to schedule this game. If you don't want to, Doc, it's okay.
Oh no! If I get that, I will definitely consider running a game of that. I saw a great review just when I saw
We
it.
were just thinking of one shot. You know.
Oh no, this has to be a years
I
long
was having
campaign.
survival second shot.
No, we're thinking like a one, maybe 2 shot at most, and then if we want to pick it up later, we can. But
That is a big challenge with wretched systems: is surviving 1 or 2 one-shots. Someone's going to get ganked.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It'll probably be somebody ganked by Guido Libido.
Guido Libido. What did I say my character was good named again? Something like Alan Smith or something like that.
Silly, yeah.
Because these guys are like the wackiest motherfuckers ever, and I'm just like,
Dude, if you're
A
gonna
guy
play
with a
wacky
pocket
stuff, terrible.
Bubba, his costume's got to be as much white and gold as possible.
No, it's going to be mainly just stretchy pants with burgeoning pubes coming out the top, like a pew fro. And I don't know if I'm going to luchador or fro. I'm going to hide stuff in my hair.
Oh, you're not going to go for the Elvis cape and everything
Mm-mm.
when you're that way you can throw off the cape.
They
Now
do
the
have the
ideas of
luchador
honky tonk man,
masks.
thanks.
They do have the luchador masks that don't cover the top of the head, so you could do both. You could have the mask with the fro.
Yeah, where we
no
live,
one
there's
knows who I really am. He's got
Yeah, like the mask does nothing to conceal your character whatsoever, because all you do is like walk around the
armor, but in pinstripes.
He takes it off, puts on a fake set of glasses like Clark Kent.
Yeah. So I figured these guys made up these fucking ridiculous characters. I just play like the guy from Orgasmos, the Mormon guy.
It's funny.
I'm going to go
Because,
use the AI to try to generate my character. If not, I know Jackie will jump on board, and you know Jackie's style, Justin. So a guy in a trench coat wearing a rabbit suit with a Bugs Bunny head, holding a bloody machete.
Yeah.
Actually, when I played at the Red Room, I'm surprised we never played an exploitation scenario. Not once. We didn't do exploitation.
I'm probably guessing they just didn't invite you.
Oh, no.
I can't picture them not doing that. Especially in their neck of the woods with their.
We were mainly playtesting what they were working on at the time, is what it was. So we ended up playtesting, the Bella Epoch a lot, and I did Wretched Space, he did Wretched Space, and we did a lot of modern. So we play tested the space station several times and the Belle Epoch, and we did one modern, and it was set in the 80s, and I had way too much fun with that.
Oh,
I made the Dollar General version of fucking Magnum PI, man. It was so much fun.
who was it who just sent me the meme of what was that? The Alvin and the Chipmunk dressed as Magnum PI and Indiana Jones with below.
That's Chip and Dale. Yeah,
Yeah,
Chip and Dale. Yeah, that was
Chip and Dale was a
open,
great
that was
cartoon.
open joke.
Yeah, back in my buddy and I, Richard, we saw that like early on because he was a huge Indiana Jones fan, and I liked Hawaiian shirts. So
Black Hawaiian shirts. Me too.
I wasn't a huge Magnum PI fan, but my folks were. So I saw it, and I'm like, okay, I get it.
You gotta drop the trench coat, man.
You think so?
Your buddy's got to be wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Over
he's got
the
the full body suit and a Hawaiian shirt.
But it's too tight, so he's all puffed out.
And there's got to be like an awkward tear in the bunny suit.
So it's stitched up with like yarn or something, like some brightly colored stitch.
No, it's just an open tear that like his dong falls out of every now and then. Like he's running and his junk pops out.
I distract them. With that.
It's a special maneuver.
Oh, it's staying like a carrot.
Yeah, he's got like a carrot sock over the fucking thing. No, it's tattooed like a character.
Oh,
Because the guy's fucking psycho.
well, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, the way I picture him is he like never speaks, or it's just like one, you know, Bugs Bunny ish quote every once in a while. Otherwise, he's just like looking at you with that dumb freaking rabbit head, and it's like tilted at the wrong angle or
A
something.
full card, like from like with like the toy thing. What's up, guy?
Hey guys.
Uh,
Okay, we have officially devolved from giant stompy robots and gone to giant stompy men.
This is our session 0. You know that, right?
Right. That's fine. I'm perfectly okay with that. We have 2 people actually still watching us. Whoever you guys are incredibly brave. Oh, and I missed a couple of your comments there, George. I am sorry. We got how
that series of tripods was amazingly good, actually. The special effects are kind of crap, but it was a really good series.
I've never heard of this, but
yeah, it's on YouTube. I got saved, I think, on one of my channels.
and I too had the Planet of the Apes lunchbox. My first lunchbox though was Adam 12. That's how far back I go.
Wow.
Yeah, Adam 12, dude.
You know what my lunchbox was? Brown paper bag.
Those freaking thermoses though. Oh dear God, they were the freaking worst.
That's based on a book. I remember a book when I was a kid
Plastic
called
treasure.
Tripods. That was something like that.
Are you sure it wasn't something else?
What?
Something more man related?
Man.
You don't do this well, Shadow. You
Yeah,
need to practice.
I know. I was actually thinking of. Do you guys remember the old Destroyer novels?
No.
I'd have to see
No.
the cover.
Really? Okay. They were like modern day Gore, but he was a mercenary.
Oh, maybe. I'd have to, like I said, I'd see the.
I mean, there was like 50 of them, and
Oh my God, they're
is there more than 50?
the Destroyer novel series, paperback novels, U.S. government operative Remo Williams. Oh, not Remo Williams. Yeah, there's like 200 of those. Who's it by? Is it by Murphy?
I don't
Ward
remember. I
Murphy
just
is
remember
it,
that I wasn't allowed to read
Saber.
them.
Yeah, Remo Williams. I guess that's where that came from.
Huh.
Yeah. I just remember, like I said, I wasn't allowed to read them, or maybe I was thinking of something else. But I know I got a hold of one like that. Was I in juvenile hall when I got that?
What happened in the book, Shadow?
The guy was in order to claim his inheritance from his like uncle or something. He had to go across the planet and sleep with the like 10 or 12 women that his uncle, his most famous conquests. All these like crazy ass like obviously women that one was like a military officer, like super deadly in hand to hand combat, that kind of thing, and he had to go globe trotting and prove that he had you know did the deed with these women, and then come back to the lawyer and go, here's proof, and claim his
Come back
inheritance.
with a sack of panties.
I,
It's
I,
a Leadership Larry. Oh my God.
it was amusing, especially because with the only one I remember was the military officer lady, and what he did to trick her was explain that he was there to teach a woman this new martial art move in case a woman's getting raped, that she would be able to yank a man's junk off with her own junk.
He tricked me.
Yeah, but
I think that's one that you deserve what you get if you fall for it.
Yeah, they fall for it.
But I mean, the,
That's what I mean by
the,
that
the
statement,
funniest part
bro.
for me was all the different ways that he had to, the different
Now, women
identities.
are that stupid though, so
Yeah.
I'm
When I
a
used to do door to
And you
door
would think
sales,
that it
I
would be a
discovered
woman
women love to be lied
teacher,
to.
just saying, but he had to come up with all these fake identities and you know backstories and pretenses of why you know he was going to do what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which
there's
reinforces the idea that women just want you to lie to them.
so we were talking about gore the other day.
Gore. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, you know the book series, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
are we
I
going to
got
have to
four of
read
them.
that for
Fuck no.
okay, because
But I was remembering a review I read for it like years ago, and how batshit absurd it was compared to what actually happens in the books.
Yeah, it's very soft. It's not that.
Yeah, but the review is like every scene is a gang rape scene or whatever. So I've decided I'm going to try and write that series to learn from the review.
Show you.
Yeah.
why
Because
It was
my brain
fun.
gave me a challenge.
your brain, it was Satan.
Yeah, probably the same thing.
Because I'll say this: when you're done writing it, destroy it.
No, I'm going to send it to you.
Uh,
You should write a story about an orgy and all that, but right from the perspective of the guy that has to come in and clean. Tom, the janitor, hates his job.
Well, it depends. Did he get to like participate in the orgy?
No, absolutely not. He just has to clean up the mess.
Because
When everybody's doing the walk of shame, who are they going to take it out on? The hired help.
oh,
I'm sorry, I was checking out what Bubba just sent me on Discord because you've been just rattling shit off.
Oh, that was a
Oh
while
yeah,
ago.
yeah. I like these minis. These are creepy.
Yeah, I'm gonna paint him yellow. I think
yellow.
like minions. Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah, these minis he found on Etsy.
I
I
don't know
like these
why they're so
minis.
simple and retro looking. They just stuck in my head. I'm like, I gotta do something with them. And I haven't painted miniatures in years. I'm thinking about ordering those and painting them up.
Yeah.
I haven't painted anything like in weeks, and I'm okay with that. I should be
That's the
doing more.
last thing you paint just the other day.
Uh, I've got these last 4 or 5 from a lot of 60 that I need to finish, and then I need to take a break from that and do
The only
something.
crafting thing I've done has been making bookmarks.
No more coasters.
I'm out of the blanks for the coasters. I got some ideas. I just haven't made them in a while. I've not been doing the craft fairs. I didn't do the craft fairs this year.
I wish we had one. I meant to tell you we've got a swap meet. It's only on Sundays, which is really weird,
Yeah.
but it's a big one. It's got a lot of it might as well all be Latinos,
Yeah.
but they do sell luchadores masks,
Yeah.
and they have a
My buddy
wide.
Steve was down there. He had Mexican street that SoCal Mexican street food. He was
Mhm.
down there at the market today. I just didn't stop and get anything.
Unfortunately, because it's only open on Sunday and Sunday's church day, it makes it hard to you know get anyone motivated to go after it. But I vowed that before Jackie's vacation is over, we're going to go hit up the swap meet and probably pick up a couple of masks and a couple other things.
Swap meet? You mean like flea market, right?
Yeah.
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 We have those are Thursday, Friday, Saturday around here, and then my farmers markets are 4 days a week at least.
You know what though? This is the cool thing about the swap meet. I've never seen this before, or flea market. Each stall, right, has a small like shed, right, to store your stuff, so you don't have to move it back and forth. You get the lock, and it's like $100 for a 10 by 10 a month with the rights to sell every Sunday.
Right.
I mean, it's probably a little more now or a lot more now, but I'm like, that's an insane deal, especially if you don't want to get a storage unit and you're trying to get rid of crap. Have you guys ever heard anything like that before?
I mean, that's how Mexicans do it a lot. You
Well,
just kind of
I mean,
Tijuana.
I don't know that it's entirely a Mexican thing, but most of the people that are working it are, and there are some nice
Yeah,
shops.
the indoor part of our local flea markets are like that, except it's not that cheap.
Well, yeah, because it's
They're
indoor.
like a little
This is literally
springboard.
outdoor, and easily 1 in 3 Sundays you're going to get hit with a dust, a dust storm.
Right.
So it's so bad that everybody there, um, it's a gravel like parking lot. They will bring like gallons of water and water their land.
The
It's
okay,
going to
take
grow.
back. The one in Louisa is kind of like that, but the one in Prestonsburg, not Prestonsburg, past. There was another flea market, and it looks like a South African shanty town, and it's set up to be kind of like that. Oh, I'm serious, dude. It's got the metal tin roofs, and they're permanently there, and they're stalled. They're kind of like stalls, but it looks like a shanty town, but it's a flea market, and they leave all their stuff in there.
Because I was thinking, if things get any worse, I'm going to need a freaking storage unit. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'll just go that route, and then every once in a while I'll go sell shit.
So,
You know, half the time just not show up and just use it as a storage unit.
yeah,
This is
I'll be
now
back
like
in 5
$200
minutes. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, wait longer.
Yeah, I put that sign out there just for the days you don't show up.
because I've had a storage unit. I had one for several years, and I was literally there every freaking weekend because I was using it for my eBay store, and no more. I don't want to.
Yeah, definitely. If you're doing the flea market, you could set your computer up there with you. You can get like extra batteries for the fucking things,
Mhm.
and just run your eBay business out of it, and just have it clearly listed.
Yeah.
All transactions are registered on Sundays. I don't work the rest of the week. So if somebody orders something on a fucking Monday, they have to wait.
That's kind of how I already do it because I can only
Yeah.
get to the post office on Saturdays.
Yeah.
But during the summer, it's kind of dead. As soon as September rolls around, I'll get inundated with a crap ton of customers, and then with that, I usually actually use the post office and their pickup service with the flat rate boxes. That way,
Flat rate boxes are good.
oh yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I found the other copy of the Western book.
Sweet, sweet.
Now I need to just read it again.
It's a writing book.
How to write Western novels.
Yeah,
Mm.
It,
which is like pretty much applicable to every genre. Just it probably labels off the genre specific tropes.
maybe less for horror, but I'm pretty certain there's it's a series, so and there's all the genres. So picking up books like that are invariably going to help. I know there's a couple of folks out there that claim a lot of us GMs are failed writers. Well, can't we be both? Right?
That's my motto. I'd rather be a failed writer and a person who's never GM'd than not a failed writer.
Yeah, you never know till you try. Uh, and I think everybody's got a good book in them. Maybe that's not the one they write, but they still got it in them.
Yeah, well, 90% of people who want to be writers never finish their manuscript, let alone
Well,
even attempt to put it out there somewhere.
that's one of the things I with the people that I sent the story out. My particular ending was one of the things I get the most comments about. So, it's not that hard. If a dumbass like me can do it, anybody can do it.
Um, And I recommend everyone write something. Also, I want to go for a nap.
Yeah, that I actually need to bulk
Midnight.
myself. I need to get up tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Speaking of which, TCG, he just finished his book and he put it in the Discord in the sci-fi section. Hopefully, that's where I should put it.
Yeah,
Who's
yeah,
sci-fi
yeah, man.
section? Justin's
Mine.
or mine,
Yeah, it would be mine.
and I will get to reading that as soon as possible.
And I've got to dump mine in there too.
Oh, there's a section for that in there. I shall have
In
to check.
mine in my Discord.
Your regular Discord or your Bone Spears?
Yeah, Bone Spears and Starships. I'll send you a link to it
Ah,
if you want.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, do that.
it's mostly empty now. I have it set up for writing, but
Yeah, I'd like to check that out. Yeah, send me a thing on Discord. Yeah, I gotta go because I gotta get up at 5.
Yeah, we're
yeah,
gonna cut it at the top of the hour. Anyways, Doc, great having you here.
I shall
Uh,
catch you guys later.
have a good
See
one,
you
man.
guys
party
on
on.
this.
Again. And everybody else out there who played along tonight, thanks for sticking around. I have no clue what the next topic is going to be. I figured this was an easy one because of what Justin and I are doing, and everybody's comments were very helpful.
Yeah.
Real quick, Bubba, which books did you help out on over at the Red Room
I mean, playtesting.
or writing? I thought you helped write.
Oh, I made some rule adjustments. So I had some optional rules in the expanded book, and then the Wretched Verse number. I have a scenario in one of their Wretched Verses. It's the assault on the poultry planet for Wretched Space,
Okay.
and I was gonna make a horror one. And I just never got around to doing it. I don't know why, but mainly mine were just like optional rule options, like the exploding damage dice for weapons and stuff like that, which are just from other games.
Hmm. Well, if you pare them down to where they fit the system, because Wretched doesn't use like a crap ton of hit points, so
Right. I think if I run and when I'm running my noir thing, I'm not going to do the hit location chart. I'm just going to use your regular hit points, yeah, and then exploding
yeah.
damage for weapons.
Uh,
But I need to add in some basic skills and reread vigilantes and down power some of the abilities.
yeah, I'm actually reading it right now. That's one of the two game books I'm reading to review this month, hopefully. That and Avengers Chalt 3, which is fucking hoot.
It's a hoot. I bet it is.
Avengers, one of my favorite writers out there.
I
Yeah,
should.
but I was
look
mainly
into
just a
that.
playtester, and I just couldn't do it on Fridays anymore. Come after the fall and during the winter, I might start doing it again.
Yeah, the same
Sweet.
here. During the summertime is kind of rough. That's why I haven't done as many videos lately. It's just because between the morning shows and doing stuff with Jackie, there's not a lot of time.
Yeah. When it comes to Monday, I don't think I'm going to do it if Hungar's not doing one. I'd rather spend the time writing, unless you really want to.
Okay, or maybe just do an hour.
Yeah.
If we do something like that, because like Friday we did like what 4 hours or something.
3.5, and I really don't want to do over 2.
Yeah, same here.
Uh,
It really because for me, then it's noon, and then you know literally half my day is gone. And
I know Bubba needs it. He's the one that wants to keep it going for another like
I just keep
25
talking.
days.
I'm mainly just talking to my wife and toddlers all the time, so I get to talk to other adults outside of running.
I know that all too well.
It's like, oh, somebody's
Especially before the channel. Oh my God, I was going stir crazy. The first 10 years of him being in school, he'd leave and it would just be me here, and Grandma. She don't speak a word of English even after 20 years of being here.
It's crazy.
So it was, it was getting. I was actually playing board games and whatnot solo, and that I can't do that. That's
Yeah, I got chores and stuff I do around the house, and here lately I've just been smoking stuff. Like I got a smoke plan for tomorrow. I'm doing a whole chicken, and I'm smoking spam.
I was gonna take a picture of my dinner tonight and send it to you, but
Yeah.
I was more concerned with eating it. It was half rack of rib and some homemade cheese macaroni thing.
Half rack. You're not feeling too good. You losing your appetite.
There were big ribs.
Hey,
Like fuck, man. Like,
but yeah, I'm a little afraid
yes,
of my damn.
I get a little ribbed out after about the 10th one.
Okay. I can destroy racks of ribs, dude. I
Yeah.
just destroy them and wings.
If it's the fucking small ribs. I need thousands of the fucking things, but the big
Yeah,
Maybe
baby
back,
backs are the best, in my
maybe
opinion.
after a joke, man. I just go.
If you cook them right, they just fall right off the bone.
You damn right, dude. There's nothing better.
If your rib meat does not come off the bone when you pick it up, you've
You
done it
did,
wrong.
yeah, you didn't cook it long enough, or at the right temperature, or something. But absolutely.
Yeah.
I did adjust my beef rib recipe. It didn't turn out quite. I mean, it was drawn back on the bone too much, but it was tasty. It was good.
You want to pick that thing up, and you want that bone to come off smooth and clean,
Mm-hmm.
and you want that meat to just still be sitting on the plate. Like, what the fuck are you doing there?
I think I actually make better pork ribs than I do.
I don't even do beef anymore. As a matter of fact, 90% of our holiday dinners are now, if it's Easter, Christmas, whatever, everybody's like, "You're gonna make ribs, right?"
Nah, I make prime
Yes,
rib.
so.
I make prime rib twice a year, and
I
this
haven't had
year I'm going to go
prime
large.
I literally haven't had prime rib in like 13 years.
Wow. I got Stanley rib roast in there too. I do something with. I haven't figured out what I exactly want. I already know what I'm doing.
I'll be honest, we got them because they were on sale.
I'm a big fan of finding stuff on sale. We had a nice meat sale at my local butcher, and I went hog wild on some of this pork butt.
Yeah, I saw the promotion. And I was like,
so I loaded up.
why am I living in Bubba's bathroom again?
But yeah, I got some spam, dude, and I cut it up. I put the grooves in it, and then I broke it up a little bit, and I lathered it with my habanero garlic sauce, barbecue sauce, which is insanely hot, and then spiced it up. It's in there for 24
And then
hours.
spiced it up.
Yeah, and then now it goes in for a smoke tomorrow, and we're doing a whole chicken. And I'm thinking about doing my bacon explosion next weekend. I got grandkids next weekend, and they like bacon, so I'm going to make my bacon.
You're bringing those kids up right then.
Yeah,
bacon.
I got one who says she don't like fat on stuff, but she gets these pork belly bites I make. They're like 3/4 just fat. She just grabs some. This is what candy cow tastes like, and I'm like, "What's a pig?" But sure, this is meat candy.
I used to have this hot sauce called Dave's Inferno hot sauce.
A Dave's hot sauce? Not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have a Dave's restaurant right down the street, but it closed up during the thing.
Dave's Inferno, we would put it on the windowsill. We put it on the windowsill, and it would kill the pigeons. They wouldn't even touch it; it would kill them. Put it in the fridge, and all the other condiments would just be spicy by morning.
See, I made my last one, and I think I put the recipe up in the conservatory. But I found this little general store on our way back from Virginia, and I grabbed these Amish barbecue sauces, and they're so good. So I got like 5 barbecue sauces in my fridge. I got to figure out. I got to work through them, and then make my third batch of barbecue sauce that I like.
Yeah,
but it's hot. I don't like it.
So that hot sauce, it's not like for putting on things. You're supposed to put like a drop in a big pot of stew or something, or chili, and it makes the whole thing spicy.
You mean a teaspoon?
No, like a drop. But I would take like a toothpick and dab it on the inside of the lid and tap my hot dog with it, and the thing would be acid.
Yeah. I got to the point now, dude. I used to not like really hot, spicy stuff, and now when I'm like,
I went through a phase like that
up
too.
Jalapenos and stuff, I'll just pop them like they're candy.
When I was a kid, I used to just buy a jar of hot peppers and eat them straight from the jar.
Mhm.
and then drink the liquid.
Yeah, I'm growing my Bueno Mulatas on the back porch, and they're coming in strongs this year, so I might have them early. And they're 40 to 400 times hotter than jalapeno.
Yeah.
They're bright purple, and I mean a dark purple, and then they dry out to a
Black.
crimson. And I'm gonna dry them out and crush them up for my own paprika this year. Well, it wouldn't be paprika; it'd be more of a chipotle, I guess, because paprika is dried out sweet peppers, not a jalapeno or something.
Jalapeno. All right, folks. You guys are making me hungry. I'm gonna hit the road.
Jalapeno.
It's jalapeno.
I will see you guys tomorrow or Monday, I guess.
Uh, Actually, I'm
Yeah.
shocked I'm even on the computer. I'm usually not on the weekends at all.
Tomorrow for me.
Well, and Monday.
Monday. Yeah, Monday. But definitely we gotta start holding to that schedule.
Yep.
All right,
All
later.
right,
All right,
folks. Thanks again.
Yeah. Party
See you
on,
guys later.
everyone.
Happy trails.